Do not worry.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a brand new Do Not Worry stream. I'm your host, Anthony, coming to you live from the heart of Lebanon in the 09 on this Tuesday night. It's good to remember the days of the week. Tuesday, it is Tuesday. Tomorrow is Wednesday, and yesterday was Monday. What, no?
That looks funny.
How's everybody doing? Honk Big, hello. Briarleaf, hello, hello. I am joining you guys tonight. Not by myself, folks, joined by the one and only, the lovely, the legendary, the greatest of all time, Demi.
Hi guys, every time the intro gets more ridiculous, I love it.
More, Yana, you deserve
More loving, more loving.
You deserve more.
Thank you.
Yeah, hello, Sahela, keeping us company. Rather than this being a lonely stream, we have, you know, it's us together. Also, like, how much nicer does the set? I was saying, like, first of all, the set looks much, because Demi's there, obviously it's going to look beautiful. But look at the background. It used to be just a curtain. Now we have this beautiful shelf filled with colorful Lego sets. So nice. Wait, what is happening here? Should we move this? Why is the...
You could.
What if I do? Oh, no. Oh, that's just my link. Okay. Forget that. I'm going to move it to the side, though. I feel like this is getting in your way.
Not really.
Is it better?
Yeah. Whatever you want. I don't mind it.
How's everybody doing? We got Haley in the house. We got Jamie, Cause, Wonderland, Joey, Hidden Iron. Hello, Raimi Winter, Zafira, Spooky Boy. Howdy, how's everybody doing? Today, folks, we were talking about the San Diego mosque attack that happened. Arabs and Muslims are under attack, folks. Islamophobia is on the rise. Arab sentiment. Anti-Arab sentiment is on the rise, obviously, because of
Islamophobia, not anti-Islamophobia.
Yeah, Islamophobia, anti-Arab sentiment, everything because of what's been happening in the Middle East, the war with Iran, the war with in Palestine and Gaza and Lebanon, media 24/7 talking about Muslims, shitting on Muslims and Arabs and calling us violent terrorists and whatever the fuck. It's been years. It's been going on since, you know, the dawn of time, 9/11, and nothing's really ever changed, has it? So it's the same. So this is what happens. And also, like, anti-Semitism is also on the rise. There's been attacks in synagogues. There's been attacks in mosques. Why is anti-Semitism? We're going to talk about all of that later. But tensions are high and people are paying the price. Okay, innocents are paying the price. We don't want to see no more of that. Also, we're going to be reacting to the interview with Mallory McMorrow, who, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea who the fuck this person was until I saw some clips of her tripping on herself, trying to defend Israel and stuff. I love it when you catch a white liberal telling you that they're liberal and they're for human rights and they're trying to defend Israel. I love it. And so Matt Bernstein and Emma Vigeland tag teaming this takedown of Mallory McMorrow. I'm very excited to watch that, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. So we're going to be doing some of that today. We're going to be doing some reacting and, you know, discussing the heinous attack. Apparently 5 dead, including the 2 shooters. I know almost nothing about this attack. I just saw like a tweet about it, and you know, we're gonna dig deeper tonight together. Chris, hello, Chris. Irene Bertoni, hello. A few minutes late because Chris Kunzler went a bit late. It's okay. Chris Kunzler, how dare you go late and keep the people? Oh, we're kidding, folks. We love Chris Kunzler. That green-white Lego scene is very pretty. Is that a generic little village? Actually, I'm glad you should ask. This is not a generic little village.
It is not.
This is Rivendell, Irene Bertoni. This is the Lord of the Rings Rivendell set. This is a recreation of the one and only scene in the Elven village in the woods. 21 minifigures if you count the 5 statues, but you get the whole Fellowship of the Ring. 6,000 something pieces.
I was going to take the box out, but it's bigger than I remember.
It's massive. A fine collector's edition. And yes, folks, Chris says W for Anthony for getting me Mando tickets. Folks, I worked day and night, made phone calls to every producer, every cinema owner in the country. I was like, we need to get, because I was invited to the Mandalorian premiere. As you guys know, tomorrow I'll be going to the Mando premiere. And I had 1+1, and that +1, as you guys know, was reserved for my best friend Elias, who's a Star Wars fan, and we watched the Mandalorian series together during COVID. So it was going to be me and him, and we were like, it's not going to feel right if Chris is in there. Chris is also a Star Wars nerd. Chris also ran to Burger King as soon as he could to get that Mandalorian mug.
The mug.
So I made every phone call I could, folks. Night and day, I was like, we got to get Chris that ticket to the Mandalorian premiere. And today I got word from Vox Cinemas, folks. They were able to give me not just a +1, but a +2 to accommodate both Elias and Chris. But then, moments after I got that wonderful news that Chris would be able to join us, we got a last-minute cancellation, folks. Elias shall not be able to join us tomorrow at the Mandalorian premiere. It shall be me and Chris riding solo, but I do have an extra ticket, and we shall try to find that ticket at home. Now, we might try to IRL stream the premiere. The reason why I'm not 100% convinced is that there's nothing that interesting that happens at a Vox premiere. It's going to be people standing around. Maybe there's going to be some food being passed around, some drinks. There's going to be a lot of people that I know that I'm going to have to say hi to. You know what I mean? Wish bit. Like, hey, how's it going? Yep, miss you. You know, but like, do I actually miss him? That's a good question. The likeliest answer
You
is
could
that
have
no.
left that part.
No, I do, but look, hey, depends who says I missed you. I'll be like, yeah, I do miss you.
A lot of people to say hi.
There's a lot of people to say hi to. There's a lot of people to miss. But like, that's gonna be the extent of it. There's not really a red carpet. Like, there might be a small little sliver of a red carpet with a little background. You know, there's gonna be loud music most likely. So I don't know, but it could be fun. Like, wouldn't it be awkward? Like, it could be fun and awkward to watch us walking around. You know.
Fun and awkward. What a lovely combination.
Take Shada. No, Shada. No way. We're not taking Shada there. Demi, I would take. Honestly, Demi's not seen a single Star Wars movie. I think I would be doing her a great disservice if the first one she watches is the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Like, we need to sit down and actually experience the trilogy, and then like
The whole shebang.
There's 3 seasons of TV show before she even gets to the movie. So it's like, I don't know. And I took her to watch Mortal Kombat 2 days ago. It was bad. Okay, it wasn't great. So I feel bad. Like, I can't. I have to be conscious of how many mediocre to bad movies I can take her to.
I thought we went to the premiere of Fantastic Four, and that was fun.
That was a better movie than Mandalorian is going to be, most likely. Like, it's not going to be bad. It's just like, hey, inconsequential. I don't know. Chris says, stream the movie. Great idea. We will live stream the whole movie. You guys can get to watch it live on the channel. But no, Haley, no for the Shada idea. I'm sorry. I can't take him in public. Okay, before we get going with anything serious, Chris, this is the last day بيحتاج ميلة ولا متى الهم. I had to work night and day.
He has to do at least 3. At least 3.
Folks, a quick thank you to our lovely members who support the channel, without whom our members and our patrons, we could not keep this channel going. We have 431 lovely members, aka Do Not Warriors, who get exclusive content every week. Tomorrow, our lovely members will be getting an exclusive members live stream before I head out to the movies to watch The Mandalorian. Aren't you guys excited about that? Okay. And if you don't get a live stream, what you'll get is we'll see. You're getting something, but you're getting a live stream most likely tomorrow. All right. So we're going to have a good time. And let me thank some of our lovely members such as .11, who's been a member for 0 days. How about the username Matt, who's been a member for 3 months? Thank you so much, username Matt. How about also, for example, Georges de Bal 3376, or how about Warm Feet Winner, who's been a member for 1 month? Jerica Willis, thank you so much for being a member. How about Namels? And how about Empty Pockets 919? But there's more, folks. But wait, there's more. Thank you to Gemma Bears, and thank you to Helen 7348, Amel 138, also Jubal Void, and Marisol's Chicken Wing. Marisol's Chicken Wing. Thank you to our lovely members. Whether you've been a member for 1 day, whether you've been a member for 1 month, for 1 year, whether you've been out there gifting memberships, or whether you've been gifted a membership and haven't spent a penny on your membership, we love and appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of our community. We appreciate you. And again, enjoy your exclusive live stream coming tomorrow. We're gonna have a good time. I might also start doing some gaming live streams with the members, just chilling. Okay, people are saying Subnautica is fun, so why not some Subnautica? Second thought. What's happening here? Oh, look at that. Chris is sending me a private message on on the WhatsApp, folks, telling me. So he's telling me so that I stop rubbing it in his face that I got him a ticket. He got me an extra Mandalorian mug. Chris, thank you so much. We got an extra Mando mug, which we shall be enjoying on the stream. Thank you so much, Chris. And after the Mandalorian movie tomorrow, folks, Chris and I will return home and give you guys a live review. We gonna stream it live, nerd out, talk some Star Wars, shit on the movie because it's already at like 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, so we're probably not gonna love it. Let's be honest here. We're gonna talk about.
Don't give it a chance.
We're gonna talk about Mandalorian tomorrow live. Chris, don't you forget there's a live stream tomorrow. Okay, live review. So you might be getting 2 live streams tomorrow. One IRL stream at the movie theater. See what our mediocre, low budget premieres are like in Lebanon. And then you'll get a review of The Mandalorian. I'm not sure on what channel it's going to be on. It could make sense on Tino's Playroom, like a nerdy movie review. But also, this channel could use a bit more fun, a bit more lightheartedness. Haley D with a $2 super sticker, which says vibes. Thank you, Haley, for the very generous support. Vibe. It is. We got with Demi here. It's always nice vibes. Always superior vibes.
Thank you.
The greatest of vibes. So, our people are asking if Demi doesn't want to go. She did offer to go because she felt bad that the ticket was gone. But like, I felt more
Because
bad.
then he didn't want to stream it anymore. He was taking the whole kit to everything. Then he was like, "No, I'm not gonna take it anymore." I was like, "I'll go help you out."
We will try to do a nice little live stream, and it'll still be nice. But I'm just like, I don't know, like they're not exciting premieres, but like it's still fun. Why am I shitting on my IRL stream before I even do it? It's gonna be great. Show will be tone. Also,
It's gonna be great.
you can not only support us on YouTube membership, you can support us via Patreon, folks. We have a lovely community of patrons as well. Our God tier patron, Elian Mujabir, the last man standing, we love you. Superhero patrons like Ezekiel B, Khawlan Ahmad, Muhammad Mroueh, Maroon Buslayman, Rhea, D, blonde patrons like Matthew Bax, Lipton Ramen, Elby, Haley Davis, Melissa, Megan Lowndes, Mariam Ayad, Linda, Antonio Jmail, Olive, and our beautiful abductee patrons such as Joseph Ramirez, Mother's Milk, Wax Wolf, Polish Pusher, Jennifer Sage, Jenna, and Jigglypuff. We appreciate all of our members. Our patrons get exclusive access to shows such as Fantasy Board Review, where Nour and Karine read the weirdest books known to man. They're currently where you've seen this photo. I'm sorry, I have to show this to you. It's become tradition at this point. Morning Glory Milking Farm. It's about a woman whose job it is to milk minotaurs.
Oh
Yeah, Karine
my
chose
god.
this. She's like 70% through the book apparently. Now she's probably at 80%.
That is the first time I've seen that.
A Monster Bay romance. So this is to be expected from this.
No comments.
This is for Patreon, folks. Nour and Karine. This is what they want to read. This is what they do in their free time, folks. Can you imagine the filth that they're reading? But this is for. They're gonna have a nice little review for this on the Patreon. Their decision, folks. Their choice.
What happened to this being a family-friendly show?
This happened to it.
This happened to it.
This happened to it. This happened. To
Morning Glory.
Morning Glory monster. It's so ridiculous you can't even take it seriously.
It kind of looks AI though in a way, like has an AI vibe.
Never. These books never use AI. They have more dignity than that. Folks, thank you for the support. Members, patrons, thank you, bless you. But also, it's very important to remember that you don't have to be a member. You don't got to be a patron. You don't got to shoot in some super chats to support the channel. Okay, there's more than enough for you to simply like the video. You're watching live right now. We got 78 live viewers, but 22 likes. Like the stream. Hop into the live chat. Say hello. You got to subscribe to the channel. Jump to the live chat. Okay. If you're watching the replay, leave a comment, leave a like, join the Discord, do all the fun stuff, and we love you and appreciate you forever.
Forever.
Forever. And one final thing, if I may plug, too much. I always do 15-minute intros. Yeah, people are gonna get sick of me, huh? Tino's Playroom, folks. You love my Lego collection. You love my gaming, and you can support us there. I'm about to drop a 45-minute video reacting to every Lego set retiring in July of 2026. Very specific video, experimenting. It took me 49 minutes to record today, so hey, it's gonna be a long video. You want some Lego content? You want to see me reacting to sets, telling you which sets you need to buy before they retire? Check out that video. Nour should be working on that thumbnail. If it's not up today, it'll be up tomorrow. It's gonna be fun. Marina, hello. Dingafir, hello. Strawberry, hello. Bless you guys. Support us on Tino's Play. It's a very fun. Honestly, I love this channel. I want to spend more and more time there. I'm super proud of it. I'm super proud of like the branding, everything. Been having a lot of fun with all this Lego stuff. Gonna have some fun mocks to build, some fun Clone War stuff. So we might even do like the Lego the Star Wars review there tomorrow. I'm not sure because it seems like it could fit the vibe. I'll have to decide. I'll have to think about it. Divinity Liddy 2630. Hello. How's everybody doing? All right. Now enough self-promotion. Shameless self-promotion. Hella then we'll shamelessly self-promote Demi's work.
No. I'm good.
I was scrolling through Twitter today and saw this very funny. Like I saw that John Travolta has a new look. Everybody's been seeing John Travolta's new look with the beret and the extremely distractingly dyed black beard. He looks nothing like himself, but also very John Travolta of him. Well, someone dropped this treasure of a meme, and it's probably one of the greatest things to ever come on the internet. It says, telling the barista at Starbucks, I clogged the toilet as I'm leaving. So I just love, he's just like pointing, and then like, oops, I clogged it. I don't know, it's great. I loved it, so accurate. And just that stance. Look, he's so whimsical. Sorry.
Truly.
Just took a bomb shit in your toilet, man. You're gonna have to clean that shit up for the next 6 hours. My bad, man. Anyways, I'm gonna float out of here with my light stomach. I don't know. I loved it. It was nice. It was nice. Divinity Lydia, my day was good, boy. I don't know. Isn't this fun?
It's a cute one.
But he really did change a lot, huh? Do you know who John Travolta is?
I'm itching.
He's the guy from Greece.
No, I have not watched that.
Damn, you're not. Look at him. This is not John. He's 72 years old.
That's him now?
Yeah, that's now.
I need to do a quick search on.
Let me get you some John Travolta.
I got it.
And he has been wearing a toupee.
Oh, I know that guy.
Yeah, for sure. He's been wearing a toupee for a few years. Then he took it off a few years ago, embraced the baldness. He was like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna pretend. Why pretend?" And hey, bless him.
Oh, he looks so different bald though.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
Not bad or good, just like a different person. That's why I didn't recognize
It
him.
kind of suits him being bald, because like people were still
Yeah.
used to him with hair, and like he's used to be from Greece and dancing and all that. But like now with the and look, his beard is obviously graying, so this is like so.
Yeah, like embrace the look at this point.
It's such a dark beard. Like, come on, man, embrace it. You're aging. I like. To me, there's nothing nicer than like a gray beard, being wise, having some gray hair.
I know, for me, it's the beret that he could have done without.
The beret is horrible. Yeah, the beret is, and it's like a new thing. Like he's wearing many berets. Like he's wearing a white beret here, black beret there.
That's funny.
He got a collection
He doesn't want to embrace his baldness. He's not ready for it.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Hey, as long as he's happy. But yeah, he is a Scientologist. That is right. He's a crazy Scientologist.
Damn.
John Travolta. John Travolta, the one and only. Haley D says, yesterday at a store, I overheard an associate and a plumber talking about how a knife was flushed down the toilet and that it happens a lot. Damn, that's crazy.
What the fuck?
People be flushing anything down a toilet.
And that's like such an awkward shape to try to flush down a toilet, I feel.
A quick reminder that while, a ceasefire is being touted here in Lebanon, and everybody talks about, oh, well, there's a ceasefire now, and Lebanon is making peace with Israel and the U.S., and they're meeting and all that stuff. Just keep in mind that yesterday at 1 a.m., while people were asleep, Israel ordered the evacuation of entire residential buildings packed with civilians in Tyre. Families waking up in the dark, grabbing children, fleeing before Israel drops bombs on their homes and flatten them. So this is apparently a ceasefire. This is what constitutes as a ceasefire here in Lebanon. But because they're not bombing Christian areas, they're only bombing Shia and areas where they support the resistance and places near the border with Israel, then it doesn't count. It's a ceasefire, apparently. So this has been happening every day. There's been over 600 people killed since the start of the ceasefire. So much for the ceasefire.
Bullshit.
Insane. They're murdering women, children. The world doesn't give a shit. This is literally, it's the Gaza playbook, just on a smaller scale. But here's a slightly positive update. New Israel has sunk significantly in Lebanon. Israeli Channel 12 citing strategic advisor Barak Sadi. The situation of the northern border residents today is much worse than it was on the eve of the war with Iran. There was a celebration and talk that Hezbollah had received a strategic blow, but in the meantime, we are stuck in a quagmire and our soldiers are being killed and wounded by booby-trapped drones. I love that the term booby-trap is still a thing.
By the way.
The northern arena has turned into an additional burning and open front. Yani, it always breaks our heart to hear that, IDF soldiers are getting killed here in Lebanon at the border, at the hands of the resistance. What can we say? But, yeah. Also, this is kind of crazy. According to Al Jadid, Lebanese TV network, there was a new poll that was conducted between April 28th and May 5th on a potential peace agreement with Israel. 84.2% of the Druze community in Lebanon supports it. 76.5% of Maronite Christians support it. 72.2% of Orthodox Christians support peace with Israel. 51% of Sunnis support versus 44% of Sunnis opposing, and 92% of Shias oppose.
Okay, I'm sorry, but no, these statistics are bullshit because no one heard of this. Who voted? Who are these people that voted?
But either way, to give it additional context, you have to keep in mind that while 84% of Druze support peace with Israel, Druze are maybe like 5% total of Lebanon's population. So when you add up all of these percentages with, so here's some extra.
Well, even for you to say a percentage of an actual sect, you have to actually have asked every single person in the sect. You can't say like it has to be a probability of a percentage. It's not an actual percentage because it wasn't like an official survey that everyone took.
We don't know how accurate this is, how many people, what's the sample size.
This statistics is like the easiest way to lie to people.
What the margin of error, but even if you want to consider this is like 100% accurate, keep in mind that Druze are 5.5% of the population, so that 84%, that's 84% of 5%, that's nothing. Greek Orthodox Christians are about 7.6%, Maronite Christians are about 16% of the country, Sunni Muslims are 31% of the country, and Shia Muslims are 32% of the country. That means when you add all those numbers up, it actually means that only 40% of Lebanese people support a peace deal with Israel based on this poll, while still a majority of 60% of the Lebanese population does not want a peace deal with Israel. And again, peace deal does not mean normalization. There are some Lebanese people that want total normalization. There's some Lebanese people that want to be swimming in Tel Aviv right now, partying in Tel Aviv. So that is a fact. But when you're talking peace, it's just like peace. That means like, hey, no war. It does not necessarily mean normalization, but it's still 60% of Lebanese Christians, of Lebanese people don't want peace with Israel. Now, it leans very heavily towards Muslim. 90% of Shia don't want peace, and 44% of Sunnis don't want peace. The Christians, the Maronites, everybody seems to be more than happy. That's why I'm seen kind of as an anomaly, and I have a lot of like Christian viewers that are like, Anthony, fuck you, you sold out, you're woke now. You support the resistance. Why are you being woke? I'm like, what the fuck? So I am in the minority of Christians. Now, I do think this is a bit of an overestimation. I don't think 75% of Christians want peace with Israel, but it is a high number. It's at least 50%. At least 50. A lot of the Christians I talk to could not give less of a fuck. They're just all like, yeah, let's have some peace, bro. Like, it's fine. It's crazy. It is kind of crazy.
Let's just have some peace.
Christians, where are the Armenians? What are you guys, Greek Orthodox or Maronite? But yeah. Anyway, and Elijah Magnier is a reputable journalist. So the fact that he's adding some context to this poll gave me a little bit of extra confidence to at least bring it up on the show. Again, we don't know how accurate, what the sample size is, etc. Just an interesting statistic, because even when those numbers look bad, it is still 40%. It's only 40%. 60% of the country does not want peace with Israel. But then people are like, but it's only the Shia. Well, so you do not consider them Lebanese? Like, what are you trying to say here?
Mahou, the point of polls like this is to actually show the segregation between the people that doesn't actually exist. Hey, kid, just to highlight some differences.
Here we have a lovely video of two amazing individuals together. Talk about nightmare blunt rotations. This is like...
Why does that guy look like a leprechaun?
He's an evil leprechaun. This is the most evil of leprechauns. This is Rabbi Shmuley. Who's like a media personality, very super Zionist, and he is the biggest unintentional PR nightmare for Israel. And every time he speaks in support for Israel, they lose 2% support. I'm sure. 10 people turn their backs on Israel when Rabbi Shmuley tells the world how great Israel is. So you have Rabbi Shmuley is in Israel hugging Itamar Ben-Gvir, a convicted terrorist and wanted war criminal by The Hague. This deranged settler fanatic calls for genocide, and the rabbi treats him like a hero. Yeah, Ben-Gvir is the guy who just passed that law where Palestinian prisoners will get killed by the death penalty, while Israeli prisoners accused of the same crime will not.
Okay? This guy, זה היהודי הכי חזק במדינת ישראל. והמחבלים הרגו אותנו 80 שנה, ושמו אותם בכלא כדי שיחטפו חיילים. בגלל אתה הפכת את זה. One second. איתמר.
Why does Rabbi Shmuley always look and sound drunk? Motherfucker always seems drunk as hell.
Also, he's saying this guy was a top soldier, Mohammed. The text is so small.
I didn't really understand. He's saying he's the greatest, he's the strongest Jew in Israel. Then let's see what he said.
Kid had 5 heads. Like, how the hell he's strong?
Strong as
He
in,
got
like,
a big
evil. He's like, this guy's the strongest Jew in the state of Israel, and the terrorists killed us for 80 years and put him in jail so they would kidnap soldiers.
Oh my god.
Not you. One second. Itmar, come back, my friend. Why do you need to come to the United States to strengthen the Jews of the United States? Oh my god, no, dude, if this guy comes to America, he's already been to America. I love you. Okay, I came, Benny, once again. Hey, Benny, come back.
אתה צריך לבוא לארצות הברית ולחזק את יהודי ארצות
הייתי
הברית.
בניו יורק פעם, אני אוהב אותם.
אוקיי.
You just ditched him, bro.
Read what Strawberry said.
Strawberries. I went down a Michael documentary rabbit hole. Did you know Rabbi Shmuley was Michael Jackson's spiritual advisor? He is like in every documentary, and that shade. Oh my god.
Honestly, fuck off.
That's fucked.
Fuck off. That shit's.
Yeah, Rabbi Shmuley gets his evil paws, you know. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Damn.
Could explain a lot of, you know. Once Live Bubble says, Anthony, can you say like it, love it? Here in Israel, we have what's that ice cream place called again? Cold Stone. Here we have Cold Stone Creamery, but we do not have small, medium, and large. We have like it, love it, gotta have it. That's how we do it here. And he also, yeah, what does he sell? I know his daughter sells like sex toys. It's crazy, like a rabbi's daughter selling sex toys. I don't know. It's just interesting family. Let us move on to the tragedy that happened in San Diego. This is a quick CNN report. Let me just quickly see if I can find something else. San Diego shooting. Oh, are these the teenagers that did it? What the hell? Is that a girl?
What are you searching for?
The shooter. Okay, here, let's see.
We got some critical information
Kosher dildos?
Just like kosher dildo.
from the San Diego police chief, specifically the timeline. What he said is just a little over 2 hours ago, authorities were called to the Islamic Center of San Diego due to reports of gunshots. He said they arrived within about 4 minutes, police did, and then found these 3 men victims in.
So yeah, 3 adults killed in the mosque shooting, and then I think the cops were able, or I don't know if the shooters committed suicide, but they also died, so a total of 5 dead.
The parking lot of the mosque. He said authorities then went to try to enter the mosque, as they often do. They'll try to identify any potential shooter. But then police got calls of yet more shots fired at another area near the mosque. They then went to that location. They said they learned that there was a landscaper there who had been fired upon, but thankfully was not struck by bullets. But here, I have to admit, Jake, is the most strange, bizarre, however you want to describe it, part. Authorities say that they found 2 men ages 17 and 19 in a vehicle they believe to be the suspects. They believe they died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Okay, so they killed so they killed themselves. 17 and 19, like 2 teenagers fucking did this.
That's what? They're the ones that actually shot?
Yeah, 2 teenagers, 117, 119. Crazy. They killed themselves.
That raises a lot of questions about who those people are, but obviously
what's gonna
what
happen when it's like easy to have access to guns بالآخر يعني.
Yeah, then it's like a
خلاص, there's
school-
so many gun stories that shooting stories that you hear about.
It's like school shooters. It's like, you know, they might as well, like, they could have just as easily gone to a school.
potential motivation there was here. We have had this question over the last couple hours whether the shooter or
Did they
shooters
say
plural
how they got in?
Oh, no, not yet. Tell her we're still listening.
over the last couple hours whether the shooter or shooters plural may have been associated with this mosque or whether this was complete, targeted violence from the outside. We did appear to get some indication of an answer to that from the police chief, because he said that they have now brought in the FBI, the San Diego field office. He said they are treating this as a hate crime until they've determined that it's not. And of course,
It's always safe to assume anytime a place of worship gets shot up or attacked, I'm going to assume it's a hate crime. It's targeted at,
Yeah.
that group of religious individuals.
What that signals to us is that that would not appear to be someone who was a member of the Islamic Center there if they're describing this as a hate crime. But again, a lot of questions here. We've covered, you and I, so many acts of mass violence in this country, so many shootings. Rarely do you ever see two people engaged in the same type of targeted act of violence in a shooting. But here, authorities say they believe that these are two teens are indeed the suspects. A lot of questions about who they are, what the motivation was, and obviously why they decided to take their own lives outside this houses of worship. We often say that there are a lot of questions, more questions than answers. This is truly.
Well, yeah, so MMOs says teenagers are easier to brainwash. I hope they find out who brainwashed them, whether an individual or online source. I mean, probably, at this point, there's so many like podcasts and podcasters and extreme right-wing dudes that are just out there, justifying what Israel is doing. But I mean, for the most part, young right-wing Republicans like don't fuck with Israel. So I don't know what they've been listening to. I don't know. They've definitely been pushed to the extreme by something that they consume. And I would mostly put the blame on the internet. Like maybe a person set them down a path, but then they start searching about it online, consuming some sort of video, and then the algorithm just keeps feeding them that content, and then they get in deeper into weird communities on like 4chan or whatever the hell. But like for too young, like, are they doing this for Israel? Are they like mega Zionists? Are they just like Islamophobes? What's the
one of those very peculiar situations that authorities are trying to get to the bottom of, Jake?
Steve Moore, what was your first reaction to what we heard from police, the San Diego Police Department, about the shooting at the
on site?
Yeah, like in a car, I think, parked outside.
Largest mosque in San Diego County?
I was kind of surprised at the fact that we didn't know that there were 5 fatalities until now. It obviously happened in a very short amount of time. For
everyone saying they're just white young supremacists, like I don't think a white supremacist would kill himself after. But that's the weird thing. Like, why did they commit suicide after?
Maybe I guess they just know they're about to get caught, or.
I don't think they'd take their life for something like that.
Fairly quickly. What's interesting to me, Jake, is that obviously 2 shooters, you rarely get that. The other thing is that I responded to an active shooter one time.
Dude, how many mass shootings happen in the States every day? Like, it's insane. Like, the fact that this one got any attention, but by tomorrow, this is old news and forgotten.
Who went to a Jewish community center. After escaping from the Jewish community center, he shot a postal worker who was non-white. And the reason was he was a white supremacist, and that was fair game for him. The fact that they just randomly shot at a gardener makes me wonder if they had an agenda that would involve I don't know, white supremacy, something like that, that would cause an anger at Muslims, and at the same time, people who might appear not to be citizens.
So wait, they tried to shoot up a synagogue first? Is that what he was saying?
Worker who was non-white.
Raise the volume, sure.
Obviously, 2 shooters, you rarely get that. The other thing is that I responded to an active shooter one time who went to a Jewish community center.
Okay, no. So he's talking about another active shooter that he responded to one time, not this guy.
An anger at Muslims, and at the same time, people who
150 mass shootings already in 2026 in the States. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. And you don't even hear about any of those on TV. How they count a mass shooting is like when there's more than like 3 people. It's crazy. It's crazy. America is insane.
Might appear not to be citizens.
Josh Sherrard, police said the suspected shooters appeared to have died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds. They were 17. They were 19. We were told. What does that say to you?
The questions that we're going to have to answer concerning where to go from here is, were they involved in a larger operation? We're going to need to be digging into investigating their homes, their digital assets, social media accounts, discords that may have been a part of. wondering if they're part of a larger organization or group, and wondering if this is just the first in a series of possible targeted attacks. Like Josh and Steve both pointed out, we don't see multiple shooters in these attacks very often. The vast majority of active shooters across the country for the last 25 years have been lone wolves. Is this part of a larger organization that we need to be concerned with? We need to rule that out as quick as possible, especially when we're talking about this age group that is very, very susceptible to that radicalization, as we've seen over the last several years.
Josh Campbell, how unusual is it when there are horrific mass shootings like this one? How unusual is it for there to be more than one shooter?
It's exceedingly rare. I mean, we almost never see it. We talk about the number of acts of violence that happen in this country involving firearms. Rarely do you see two people involved or two people or more trying to go toward the same target. We have seen incidents where people are firing at each other and they end up striking people. Again, this is very rare. We've seen incidents. I'm in Los Angeles, over in the San Bernardino area several years ago. There was a terrorist attack at a government building that involved multiple fatalities. That involved a man and a wife.
Are they calling this a terrorist attack? Because so far, no one has called this a terrorist attack. But yeah, it's only a terrorist attack when it's an Arab person or a Muslim person.
Anyway, someone said in the chat, like, they're painting it on their news, yani, towards like the Muslims having done something negative. Oh shit, I don't really understand this.
Yeah, they're gonna try to justify it. Like, apparently some people, I saw some tweets that are saying that like this is a mosque that used to radicalize people or whatever.
To actual shooters. But again, this is very rare. But this does raise a lot of questions, a lot of work for law enforcement ahead. And just to break this down, I mean, we're seeing the images on what the scene looked like at the time whenever police were responding. But now that it's secure, they believe that there's no longer a threat. They believe the suspects have now been neutralized and are deceased. They have to work to try to identify them, but they also have to scour that area to gather any potential evidence that they can. These two people...
It could be it's a hate crime and a terrorist attack, I guess. It's both. It's both. It is a hate crime because it is targeted at, in this case, a specific religion. So it is a hate crime. And it's also a terrorist attack because they're out there terrorizing people. It's both. They should call it both. Yeah, that's as simple as that.
Aren't going to be prosecuted, obviously, but they will try to work to determine, was there someone else who might have been assisting in this? We're not saying that that's the case right now, but that is textbook, something that authorities want to determine. Is this a group of people that were inspired to conduct an act of violence targeting Muslims? Was this something much different? Was this, targeting specifically the people who were indeed injured and then killed? Again, a lot of questions. And then opening the aperture. We know the FBI is now on the scene. They would not only be assisting with the crime scene forensics, but the authorities have said they're going to treat this as a hate crime until it's not. If it turns out that these two men have some other connections elsewhere around the country, which we've seen in a lot of instances, the FBI would then be able to work with their resources around the country. And then the final thing I'll note is, sometimes whenever you see an act of targeted violence, people are proud. They'll actually leave behind some type of, note or communication, a so-called manifesto indicating why they did what they did. A lot of times they often don't, which obviously makes it much more difficult for authorities to try to get to that motive. There won't be a prosecution of these two individuals, but authorities still want to identify what was it that inspired this. Oftentimes that will involve looking at the electronic media of these individuals, if they have it, social media, if they have it. All of that is where you see federal investigators coming in. They work very closely with the various social media and online companies as well to try to gather information as quickly as they can, again, to try to rule out, to make sure there isn't someone else out there who may have known what was about to happen.
Josh Gerard, what more are you hoping to learn about the motive for this? Obviously, law enforcement saying that they are presuming this is a hate crime until that is disproven.
The hate crime tag on this crime really doesn't change the way it's investigated. It may be changing the way that it's prosecuted down the road, but it's going to be investigated like any other attack. And that's exactly how it needs to be. Understanding the motive between these two teens, interviewing those friends and family, understanding where they came from. And then, as Josh Campbell just pointed out again, making sure that this isn't part of a larger organization. Is this a group that we need to be concerned with? Are there further attacks that we need to be concerned with? We also have to take a look at the way that this was carried out. We've got two shooters that didn't make it inside the building. Now, we don't know what their plan was, but most likely it was to do as much damage as possible, which means getting inside. But that little bit of resistance, having that security guard outside, seemingly prevented them from making it inside.
And I think the security guard got killed. I don't have I'll try to get the information on the victims. Laura Loomer said the mosque that was supposedly shot up today, and she put supposedly in quotations, says, just remember the people who attend this mosque want us all to be killed. We will be told they are such amazing people. I'm not advocating for violence. I condemn violence. I am showing you how evil this mosque is and has always been. It should be raided by ICE and the FBI. So this lady doesn't give a shit that a bunch of innocent people were just killed. She doesn't give a shit that her tweet is basically justifying more violence against that church. Even though she's saying, I'm not advocating for violence, I condemn violence, but I'm just saying the people there want you dead. So you do with that information what you will. Those people want to kill you and your family. They want to kill you and yours. But I'm not calling for violence. But hey, they should be raided by ICE and the FBI. What's the guy? Goddamn, what's his name? FouseyTube quote tweeted Laura Loomer. Weirdly enough, Fousey shared this and says, I go to this mosque every Friday. There's an older and Fousey, by the way, has now become a fitness freak, all that sort of stuff. In case you guys got jump scared by his face at the beginning. He says, I go to this mosque every Friday. There's an older gentleman in his 70s who walks around handing everyone a piece of candy with the warmest smile on his face, followed by a quiet prayer he whispers for the person receiving it. He doesn't want anyone dead. I don't want anyone dead. And nobody I've met there wants anyone dead. Yet based on your tweets, I'd bet you'd rather see every person in that mosque erased for simply being Muslim. Funny how the people constantly accusing others of hate are usually the ones consumed by it themselves. So, well said by Fousey. Fousey seems to be doing well, in his new fitness journey. So, good job, Fousey. We're happy. And what a nice little, anecdote and story to share from inside the mosque. I can already imagine him. I'm not Muslim myself. I don't go to mosques, but we have the equivalent old Lebanon Arab men that walk around giving candy to kids and have a little piece of candy, have a little bit of this, have a little bit of that. They're all nice. They'll pray for you. I can imagine that a mosque is very welcoming. And all of these communities, anytime you go to I'm sure a church or a mosque, they feel like a home away from home. So there's very close-knit communities because people have left their countries and they congregate in these mosques. So it's Muslims from all around the world that feel a little bit homesick. They miss their family. They miss the taste of home. So these churches become their home away from home. And I'm sure it's the same for some local synagogues and local churches and etc. All places of worship. Best if you're Muslim in America, chances are you're an immigrant from somewhere. So there's little communities that form there. Okay, so it's a nice little story from Fousey. Yeah. What else? There was another tweet. New York Post shares this. San Diego mosque where mass shooting left 3 dead has controversial history, including ties to 9/11 hijackers. So they're like, yada, they're telling people, go set this place on fire. Go set it on fire. That's what they're saying.
No, I love how they can make these outrageous claims without any backing or proof. Okay, where's the story or the proof behind the story?
Well, I guess you have to click their the clickbait. Let's see what they have to say. Let me just try to get the picture of the victims. This is from Axios. San Diego mosque shooting victims praised for heroism. The 3 victims in Monday's shooting at the Islamic Center for San Diego were all beloved members of the Muslim community, according to a new news release from Council on American Islamic Relations. Do we have their photos? The big picture, security guard Amin Abdullah, as well as community members Mansour Kaziha and Nadir Awad were shot outside the center's entrance and are being allowed for preventing a potentially greater tragedy as children were inside attending school. Haram, it was, there was kids inside, man. It's like Sunday school.
Oh no.
Zoom in. Abdullah risked his own life to alert the school and other individuals inside regarding the active shooter, according to the release. Kaziha, known as Abu Az, was a community leader who managed the mosque store for nearly 40 years and was a loving husband, father, and grandfather. Haram, manning the store. I want to see pictures of them. Awad turned away community members from the bullets and saved lives, according to the release. There is no doubt that the casualties would have been much worse without their heroism, the release said. W's in the chat, folks, for these 3 heroes. I'm on W's.
My God, to be able to even take action in that kind of stress.
I know. W's for Kaziha, W's for Awad, and W's for Amin Abdullah. That's very sad.
Brave heroes.
Let's try. I'm gonna try to look them up on Twitter. There's got to be some photos being shared of them. Here's Amin Abdullah. There we go. Hey, what a G.
Damn.
Look at that guy. Here's
Full
our boy.
fit.
There he is. Big man. It says, Brother Amin Abdullah was a security guard who was martyred at the Islamic Center of San Diego. He gave his life to protect the lives of countless students and congregants. One of his last Facebook posts said, "What is success? To many people, success is financial stability, good reputation, beauty, etc. As for me, wallahi, thumma wallahi, it is returning back to Allah, our creator, with the same pure soul he loaned me at birth. Having the malaika, angels of Allah Ta'ala saying, don't fear and don't grieve, but receive the glad tidings of Jannah, which you were promised by the most forgiving and most merciful. May Allah Ta'ala grant us husn al-khatima. Ameen. May the most merciful meet you with those beautiful glad tidings. Oh Ameen. Oh Ameen, you're safe now." Rest in peace. Beautiful words.
That was his last post before he passed away.
On May 5th. Yeah, one of his last posts. Let me see if it's his last. One of his last.
Damn.
R.I.P. Whoa, what? It looks like a badass, honestly. He has
Yeah.
8 kids. He had 8 kids. Anjad Allah yarhamu. God bless it. Their dad died a hero, and I hope.
And Allah يخلي لك ولادك.
Americans love nothing more than GoFundMe's. This man better get a GoFundMe for his 8 kids. And I'm sorry, if James Vanderbeek has the GoFundMe for his kids, and the brave man at Bondi Beach, he was Lebanese, by the way, the Lebanese hero. What was his name? Hamad, who stopped the shooter at Bondi. Remember that badass who ran towards the guy, grabbed his. Remember the guy?
Yeah,
Took his gun away. They tala'ulu like millions of dollars. These people, their families need money. Their families need go. Please, someone tell me that they have GoFundMe's, because yeah, haram. I want to look up the rest of them as well. Sorry, what were their names? We got Abu Az Kaziha, Mansour Kaziha. It's important to look at them. It makes it more real. I don't know what to say. Oh, there's the 3 of them. Oh, Haram and Mansour was the shopkeeper. Yep. And Nadir Awad. Man, that guy might be Lebanese, dude. There they are. Mansour Kaziha, the shopkeeper for 40 years at the mosque. Sweet little old Jiddo, man. Jiddo. And Nadir Awad that's a very Lebanese sounding name. Nadir Awad, very common name here. Common first name and common last name. The 3 martyrs of the San Diego terror attack. R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
Details have emerged. When Nadir heard the gunshots, he ran towards the danger to confront the terrorists. He was soon martyred. His actions delayed the gunmen and prevented them from reaching the children. May Allah grant him highest Jannah. Oh, there's a little kitty behind them.
No.
No. Little chunk. Little chunky cat. I was just trying to see if he's Lebanese or something. Not that it would make a difference, and it's still just a sad.
Yeah.
And here's the shopkeeper. Come on, man. It's pretty fucked up. So these are the teenagers?
Oh, this is the footage.
I think that's the footage of the cops trying to get them. 2 teenage suspects of horror attack. So that, okay. So Kane Clark, 17, and Caleb Velasquez, 18, allegedly opened fire on the Islamic Center. I thought this was a girl.
Oh yeah, that's not?
No, it's a boy.
Oh.
I guess. Kane, is this a boy or a girl?
What the hell?
Kane Clark, 17.
They're called Cain and Caleb?
Kane and Caleb Velasquez.
Isn't that biblical as fuck?
Yeah, it is. 18, allegedly.
That is not a coincidence.
Opened fire on the Islamic Center of San Diego
That is not a
at around noon
coincidence.
on Monday, according to U.S. media.
These children were probably like bred at a farm, like their whole lives just to do this.
Kane, so I guess
Kane and Caleb, oh my god, guys, please let me know what you think about that. Come on, that can't be like normal, right? That ain't normal, babe.
I mean, Abdullah, no, none of this is normal. Kids walking around with guns shooting people in America every single
But
day.
Aslan Chris was saying in a 150 mass shootings in 2026 alone, like.
Speaking with the
mom.
mom.
It's not about crazy or not crazy. It's like sacrifices. They're sacrificing humans.
Mom began to piece together bits and pieces of information over an extended period of time. The information that she was gathering and conveying to us began to elevate the threat level that we were perceiving with this information.
Yeah, Canaan. You're thinking Cain and Abel. Close enough.
Close, guys.
She believed her son was suicidal. And she began to share information that several of her weapons were missing.
Several of the mom's weapons. They took my rifle. They took my AR-15. I had a pistol. I had 2 pistols. They're both missing.
Oh my god.
Also took my hunting knife and my bow and arrow. I also had a couple of grenades that they took and flashbang. Did I mention my AR-15? Yeah, those are missing. So I think it could have been Cable. It could have been his friend Cain. He's no good. Ever since Caleb and Cain started hanging out, they've been up to no good down the creek.
Comment in chat if you want this to be a sideshow.
Sideshow. Caleb and Cain going down to the creek every single day instead of going doing their school business. Yep, so I figured I'd call the cops and tell them I think my boy's doing the shooting. I think my boy, he been talking about them Muslims for the past couple of days, saying, Mama, I don't think there should be more Muslims in this town here in San Diego.
No more.
They shouldn't be here in San Diego.
Lock your guns up.
So, Mama, I'm going to take her guns and take care of the problem myself. Selling no halal meats in the store. I don't want to walk past no halal meat section. You get your own halal. Get out of here. It's bad enough we got to deal with kosher. Now we got to get kosher and halal in the same supermarket, in the same store.
MKMT25 says every time Anthony does an accent, an angel gets its wing.
Oh, that's how it works, Mama.
Just one wing, Haley D. He has to do it twice, I guess, to get both sides.
So Cain and Caleb, they can be recurring characters if you want over here, hey there. KOJ says Anthony's redneck is great, and I'm Southern. All right, there we go. That's all. That's all I need to hear there. You know
He's never gonna stop now.
I need to hear that. You just gave me the fuel to Demi's nightmares. Now it's gonna be this voice.
I don't know what I searched. It's just Cain and Abel.
That's good. They're cute. Those are the Funko Pop versions.
It's like the fucking AI versions.
Her vehicle was missing, in addition to her son. She also said that her son was with a companion.
I told her that Caleb, that companion of his, bad influence.
And that they were dressed in camo. And that is not consistent with what we would typically see from somebody that is suicidal.
So took her guns, son was missing, wearing camo. Guns are gone, son is gone, camo's gone.
Also gathered information that one of the individuals was associated in some form or fashion with Madison High School. We alerted the school police department, and we dispatched officers into the area of Madison High School. While we were gathering this information and we were trying to zero in on where these individuals were at, we received a call at approximately 11:43 that there was an active shooter at the Islamic Center. Officers were in the area, still talking with Mom, trying to piece together where they might be, the locations that she felt that they would be at.
Well, my boys, they hate the Muslims. They also hate the blacks. They hate the Mexicans, so they could be at the taqueria down the street. They could be at that Muslim center. Like, so literally, the mom is like, I'm telling you with the cops, like, where could the boys be? Maybe they're shooting down the local arcade. It's like, what?
And that was just a few blocks away. Those officers, once they heard what was happening at the Islamic Center, immediately dispatched themselves to the mosque. And at about the same time as they were making entry and searching through the facility, room by room, we received calls of a vehicle a couple blocks away that was shooting at a landscaper. The landscaper is going to be okay, but we are still investigating that scene. It appears he may have been shot in the helmet that deflected and saved his life.
So they did shoot a landscaper. So I guess they are out just shooting anyone who's brown.
Yeah.
Like if they shot like a landscaper, they're like, oh, we don't want like that damn Mexican, and shot him. Maybe that looks like what's happened.
But that is not totally confirmed at this point. A couple blocks away from there, we also received a call.
Rahul Hussein says Fox News earlier implied it probably was Shia versus Sunni violence because of Iran, not racism towards. But really, do Kane and Caleb look Shia or Sunni? Right? Kane Clark? What was his name? Kane Clark? Or
Community member reported our two suspects in a vehicle, and it appeared they had gunshot wounds. And upon our arrival, we determined they were deceased. Yeah, we are actively investigating this as a hate crime. There are details and information that we are investigating as to exactly what those what the hate speech or the hate words were that were conveyed. Some of that.
Man, it's really scary going to America, man. Like as a tourist, it truly what's happening here?
You can't risk nothing.
Truly, it's ridiculous. Sandy, oh, there's another video. Wait, what did I open here? Not that I would. RIP. What are the ties to 9/11? Best known as the home to two 9/11 hijackers, while its current imam has justified the October 7th terror attack in Israel. Made letters for being best known as the home for two of the 9/11 hijackers. 3 people, including a security guard, were killed when a pair of gunmen opened fire on the Islamic Center of San Diego. By the way, 9/11, folks, was 24 years ago. So, like, you know, everyone there is like a fucking... If it is true that 2 of the guys that were on 9/11, that was 24 years ago. That was 25 years ago at this point. Like, what are we talking about? The motive for the shooting...
We all know, like, what that was.
And, like, yeah, 9/11, like, I mean, what... That was not like
the Muslims, right?
Yeah. 9/11 conspiracies are ones that like kind of like, yeah, those, you know what I mean, like the whole world just like
there's literally videos of like 5 dancing Israelis right next to the smoke collapse after it happened. Like everyone knows about that, man. As soon as the war started, that was like the biggest thing that was circulating in Lebanon, like on everyone's stories. I'm like, oh, okay.
So anyways, we're not going to read the rest of this article. Let me see what else we have here in terms of this. I want to see if there's any more interesting videos. So we just met the victims. What is it, San Diego shooting?
You know what? Let's hold off on that. We do have a news conference now out of San Diego with the shooting. Let's listen in.
Still very early in our investigation.
Farron Wolf says, I was 11 when 9/11 happened. I was 11 too. I had just come back. My dad and I had just watched Jurassic Park 3 in cinemas. We watched Jurassic Park 3. As we're leaving the theater, my aunt, my dad's sister, calls him. She's like, "Hey, shit! Someone, hit the Twin Towers. There was a Sony TV store right next to the cinema." So we walk up to the Sony TV store. They had a bunch of TVs on the window pane. So we stood there for a bit, watched the news on those brand new Sony TVs at the time. Then we walked home, and as soon as we got home, the second tower hit the second plane hit the second tower. Saw that live. Absurd shit. It was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah. My dad and I watched Jurassic Park 3 together that day. A very mediocre Jurassic Park sequel. Okay, we're not going to watch the whole press conference. I think we've had enough. let us move on, folks, to the Mallory McMorrow interview. And this got me with just the cold open. I saw a clip of like how this is how the interview starts. This is how the video starts. So this was done by Brett Bernstein and Majority Report, Emma Vigeland repping the Majority Report as a collab. And let's just, this is the first question Matt Bernstein asked. So this person is called Mallory. One second. Mallory McMorrow. Who the fuck is Mallory McMorrow? Let's see. Bless you. I'm not going to pretend to know who she is. Mallory McMorrow is an American politician who has served in the Michigan Senate since January 2019. She became Senate Majority Whip on January 1, 2023. A member of the Democratic Party, she represents the 8th district. Before that, from 2019 to 2023, she represented the 13th district. Ooh, Lemon Mint Cat sends a $5 dono. Thank you so much, Lemon Mint Cat. And says 9/11 hijackers were reported by their mosque community for being strange. Same with parachuting training. Guy law enforcement didn't communicate. Okay, so yeah, so it makes sense. So the mosques were the ones that reported those guys. Again, yeah, I wasn't even trying to insinuate that like it's mosques are like breeding grounds for terrorism or whatever the fuck. But
Which
yeah,
is like an insane claim. Like
yeah, the whole
anything can be bred anywhere.
After 9/11, they started like spying on every single mosque in America and like listening in and like try to trace, find terrorists before they became terrorists. Just insane stuff.
Find terrorists before they became terrorists. That's crazy.
So Mallory, but yeah, Lemon and Cat, thank you so much for the additional context. That is very important to note. So this is who Mallory McMorrow is. Okay, so leftist, wannabe leftist, Democrat, centrist, you know, vanilla. Listen to this first question. Come on.
Why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure?
That's how it starts. Isn't that great?
What do you say?
Why do you support the funding Israel defense structures?
Why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure?
Because I don't think anybody should live in fear of being bombed or killed. I would look at how do we support defensive systems for Palestinians? How would we support defensive systems for Lebanese?
Should they get an Iron Dome too, the Palestinians?
Who's shooting the Palestinians, lady? Who started? What are we doing here, lady?
Well, let's talk about that as a conversation.
Well, I mean hello. For anyone who hasn't been following recent...
so that's the cold open. Oh, MKMT25 sends a $10 super chat. Well, thank you so much, MK. And says a date night movie fund for you two cuties. Well, aww. Well, I can make up for the Mortal Kombat 2.
I was just gonna make the same joke.
What do you want to watch? And guys, I was excited for Mortal Kombat 2.
There hasn't been anything good, honestly. And I really tried to give it a shot. And like, I did give it a shot the whole movie. But then as we were walking out of the theater, Anthony was like, that was so disappointing.
Yeah, like the standard, like the bar.
Usually it's me complaining first.
The bar for Mortal Kombat 2 was already low. I'm like, it just needs to be dumb fun. And it was still kind of boring. It was marginally better than the first one. At least there was a tournament in this one. But like, it was still like, I'm like, come on. The best part was when the music from the original movie started to play the credits.
Yeah.
Like, that was the best part.
It was just too slow burn, I guess. And okay, I get that they wanted to put a story with suspense. So but also make it exciting.
So tomorrow, I think what we can do, since Chris and I are going to watch Mandalorian and review tomorrow. I know he watched Mortal Kombat as well. So what Chris and I can do is do 2 reviews, Mortal Kombat and Mandalorian. We'll give you guys 2 nerd reviews at the same time tomorrow. Oh, yeah. MK, thank you so much for the generous dono. And also, Lemon and Cat, thank you as well. You guys are very sweet.
Left-wing political Twitter drama, or who doesn't keep up with the iconic drag queen Lady Bunny, who posted about said drama on Instagram. This has been a long time coming. Allow me to explain. After I interviewed Dr. Abdul El Sayed, a progressive candidate running for U.S. Senate in the state of Michigan, his Democratic primary opponent, Mallory McMorrow, reached out to me saying that she would like to be interviewed. I was honestly a little surprised by this, given that Mallory and I have some key policy disagreements. In her race, Mallory is running on the standard Democratic liberal Zionist position of, 2-state solution, fund the Iron Dome, but Netanyahu bad, but also no sanctions about it, etc. She's also not running on
Let's
Medicare
speed
for
it
all.
up a bit.
But I wanted to.
Chris says the Kung Lao versus Liu Kang fight was fun. That was the only fun thing. There was a couple of fun-ish fights. That one was the standout. That was the standout. Everything else, I liked Baraka. You know, there's a
do the interview so I could ask her about those positions. Her team and I set a date and a time for the interview, and after I submitted a topic list, which included healthcare and foreign policy, they canceled and offered no time to reschedule. I will say, and I don't want to assume intention, and I'm willing to be wrong, but I do kind of wonder sometimes if, because of how I present and the fact that I'm so open about who I am, that people just think I'm like the gay guy, you know, who will talk about gay things and not much else. And not to be too like Sex and the City about it, but I can't help but wonder if they reached out to me thinking I'd just asked Mallory about like her LGBT record, you know? But in any case, I tweeted that
Let's talk about gay pride in Tel Aviv.
Was disappointed that her team had canceled. And the tweet quickly got traction. And within a couple hours, her team reached out and her schedule had opened back up and we were back on. So I don't know, maybe an honest scheduling error, maybe not. Make of it what you will. I had my good
friend. You put them on blast on Twitter. That's why they came back.
Friend and host of the Majority Report, Emma Vigeland, join me for this interview. Love her so much. And without further ado, State Senator Mallory McMorrow, welcome to A Bit Fruity.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited. I've been following you for years, by the way, so this is very exciting for me.
Oh, that means so much to me.
Well, you're about to hate him by the end of this. I don't think she's going to like him by the end of all this.
Seriously, though, I know we had like all of this like scheduling drama, and you know, I know in the wake of all of that, you could have very easily just been like, I'm not going to do this one, and it would have made sense to me. So it really does mean a lot to me that you're here today, and I also know that like a lot of Michigan voters listen to this podcast, might see this, and I think they're probably really grateful that you're here.
Absolutely. And thank you for rolling with us. I mean, balancing, you know, running a statewide campaign. I'm the state Senate majority whip, so I've got that whole job, and I have a 5-year-old. So our schedule, my scheduler is everything. She manages to piece it all together, but I'm really grateful that you rolled with us to make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into it. State Senator Mallory McMorrow.
Nice save, using her kid as an excuse. Oh, well, you know, I have a 5-year-old, so we have to change. But, you know, at least we're able to make it work. Blaming her kid who's not here. How convenient.
You are in this 3-person primary.
And she's probably never watched an episode of his podcast, by the way. She's like, I love your show. Been watching you for years. She fucking hates him. She's not watched a single episode of his.
She hates him.
100% hates him. Baltar 2006 sends a $5 donor. Well, thank you, Baltar, and says, Anthony, if you want stupid fun, check out the DOA Dead or Alive movie with Jamie Presley and Eric Roberts. Is that any good?
Is it in the movies now?
No, I don't think so.
It's like an older thing.
I don't think so. Eric Roberts is Julia Roberts' brother. It's that fucker. Do you remember he was in the episode of the cat show, My Cat from Hell?
The cat show?
With Jackson Galaxy. I was like, that's Julia Roberts' brother. They had a cat that was indoor-outdoor. I don't remember that. That was a classic episode, babe. The classic episode of... I will look it up. That's a good recommendation. I like dumb fun movies, but like Mortal Kombat, because I love the original movie from the 90s, like the Mortal Kombat. Like that was such a fun movie. And they've never, like, how is that still the best Mortal Kombat movie? This one had the elements to be better. They were doing the tournament, but like it felt like they were just walking around empty sets. Like it felt like movie sets. There's like characters aimlessly walking from one place to the next. It's like it felt haphazard, and they randomly get teleported to a fight. I'm like, what is going on? What is happening?
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Fair and Wolf says DOA is bad. I mean, hey, we'll give it a shot. I don't think I've seen it. And also, thank you so much for the recommendation, Baltar, and the generous donor. We have people giving us movie recommendations. So fun.
Race for the U.S. Senate representing Michigan. That's really captured the attention of the country. And I want you to help us characterize it a little bit for people who might be hearing about this race for the first time. You have these two opponents, right? On one hand, you have Haley Stevens, who is the AIPAC-endorsed super pro-Israel, sort of an extension of like Chuck Schumer's brand of the Democratic Party, I'd say, pretty old guard.
Haley says Eric Roberts takes every role. Eric Roberts looks like an asshole, honestly. Like he looks like someone you can't trust. He has a face. Sorry, we got to cut to this. It's important. Eric Roberts has a face you can't trust. Like he looks like a slime ball. I don't know why. Maybe not in this photo. Actually, no. In movies, he is. Here, he looks... Look, I'm split on him.
Show me.
The older he gets, I feel like I can't trust him. Open image in a new tab. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't feel like I can trust him.
He looks like he works on a boat and knows everyone's secrets or something like
He
that.
just looks like an asshole. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about him that makes him look like an asshole. Like someone who's mean or something.
Is his hair bleached?
I think it could be the hair.
That
I don't
could
know.
be a fact.
He looks more of a dick in movies. And in these photos, he's giving the old white man smile, which makes him, you know, kind of seem pitiful. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Just don't say with you, right?
There's something about him that just makes me not like him. Just, maybe it's the way he speaks also. I don't know. Just can't trust him. Can't trust Eric Roberts. Also, you know he's always asking Julia Roberts for cash. Like, he's got to be. Listen, Julia, come on. My last picture didn't do so great. You know?
Haley Stevens was notably booed at her own Michigan Democratic Party convention recently. I'll throw a video in there if I can find it.
EG says Eric Roberts is the face of desperation.
Which was pretty amazing. And then on the other side, you have Dr. Abdul El Sayed, who we interviewed on the show a few weeks ago. Dr. El Sayed is a very progressive candidate, wrote a book on Medicare for All, very pro-Palestine. And I think, and please feel free to dispute this characterization, that most people view you as like someone in the middle. So I was wondering if you could first just like define yourself in the context of this race.
For sure. So to put the race into perspective, Michigan has an open U.S. Senate seat. Gary Peters is not seeking re-election. We have Mike Rogers, in all likelihood the nominee on the Republican side, who ran.
Mo sends a $2 super chat and says, "Ay meta بدك تفيله هالstream يا قايرة." Listen, Mo, today's a special. Today, my girlfriend is here. We got to spend. The joke today is not gonna work with the lady here. We gotta classy it up, yo Mo, in the super chat.
This?
All right, this is Mo 434. We had a funny little gag going yesterday, but today, Mo, we gotta classy that shit up, okay? For the lady, Demi, you want to say something to Mo in terms of classying it up?
You know, just like wash your mouth with soap before you speak.
Goobular, who's been a member for 4 months, sends a super message and says, "Anthony, are you pumped for the new Spider-Man? And do you think it's a fake out for Black Suit? I love the nerd stuff. Sending love from Cleveland." Ooh, I'm guessing that's Cleveland. I'm kind of excited for the new Spider-Man movie. Look, Tom Holland has never been my Spider-Man. Tom Holland is an okay Spider-Man. I'm a Tobey guy, you know, and I liked Andrew Garfield as well. When they did No Way Home, Andrew and Tobey came back. I was happy. I'm glad that they're going back to like Spider-Man stuff. He's poor. He doesn't have an Iron Man suit. He's struggling. So I'm happy with that. Am I super excited? No, I can't say I'm very excited. I'll watch it because it's Spider-Man and I'm very loyal to Spider-Man. But like, I think at this point, I'm a bit too old and Tom Holland Spider-Man's a bit too young. I think I need an older Spider-Man that I can more connect to at this point in my life.
Yeah, I felt that also when I watched the trailer, honestly. Felt like كتير, and you can't loop the character. Like there has to be some sort of arc, progression, growth. And I just saw him as like a kid again.
Too young. He looks like a boy. You know, Tom Holland is like Spider-Boy. And he was Iron Boy in those movies, you know. Mr. Stark, I don't want to go.
Against Alyssa Slotkin in 2024, lost by only 19,000 votes. The Republicans and Trump view this as their best chance to block Democrats from having a path at taking the U.S. Senate. They're spending, the Senate leadership PAC announced $45 million that they're going to be spending in Michigan, which is more than they will spend in Georgia, Maine, Iowa, Alaska, New Hampshire. So this is it. So it makes sense that this has sort of captured the attention of the country, and we have a fiercely competitive Democratic primary.
You do. I should add, so people know, sorry, don't mean to cut you off,
Yeah.
but it's like, depending on what poll you look at, which are coming out like relentlessly, it's like neck and neck with the three of you.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. But your characterization is right. You know, what I firmly believe is that the Democratic Party needs a reckoning. That
who's she running against? I have no idea. She is running against the U.S. Senate Michigan and is facing U.S. Representative Haley Stevens and former Detroit Health Director Abdul. Oh, so Abdul El-Sayed is the guy who has Hassan's backing. So he's the guy we should be voting for. So this is our dude. So Michigan, okay, yes. So I know this guy. El-Sayed outpaced Stevens in Q1 fundraising, and she is like the APAC person, the middle one. Okay. So yeah, clearly he's the guy. He's the guy. She's not the woman. She's not the guy.
Old guard establishment of the party has really let us down. The first question I was asked when I got in a year ago was, would you support Chuck Schumer for leader? And I said, no. Apparently I was the first candidate in the country to say so. And what I know is that in Michigan, we have built a very different blueprint. So for me, I know that people want to put us into neat little lane boxes, and I just don't think that's how Michiganders think. We have people in our state who voted for both Rick Snyder, a Republican governor, and Gretchen Whitmer. We have people who voted for Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. This is a state where you don't have to register by party, and people tend to vote for the person that they like. But of the field, I am the establishment outsider, but with a track record of actually getting real shit done. I'm the only candidate to have beaten a Republican incumbent to get into office. I took on an entrenched family legacy in my first campaign for state senate, and I swung a district 20 points in a single cycle and broke the Republican supermajority. I then helped leverage a viral speech that I gave back in 2022 after I was smeared as a groomer and a pedophile by a colleague of mine. I opened a PAC. We raised millions of dollars.
Wait, what the fuck did you say?
That was
Leverage.
a casual thing to throw in
Who's a
there.
groomer pedophile?
A viral speech that I gave back in 2022 after I was smeared as a groomer and a pedophile by a colleague of mine. I opened a PAC. We raised millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I supported a dozen other candidates and flipped the entire state senate for the first time in 40 years.
Been there with the groomer and pedophile.
Oh, same here, actually.
Yeah, and can I tell you, like, all the
Jesus.
That is fucking
That's funny.
insane.
But yeah, so she's like, okay, that's great. But her sort of gloating about opening a super PAC, like, none of us here support super PACs. I don't think super PACs should be part of politics. I don't think super PACs should be raising money for anyone. I don't think anyone should be accepting any PAC money. So like, she's out there being like, I started a super PAC. Like, yeah, that's one of the reasons why people don't like you and people are trying to move away from centrists such as yourself, because you are starting super PACs to fund candidates that are like-minded.
your Instagram stories were truly so helpful for us. Like, you may not know this, but a lot of us in the state senate, we've been following you for a while, kind of hitting back on a lot of the culture war bullshit.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And yeah, really appreciate everyone who like stood their ground amidst what I think was hopefully like the height of the culture war bullshit. I'm of the belief that like so much has happened since, especially to like wreck Americans' lives economically, that even the most sort of ardent, like anti-drag brunch people are now kind of like, I don't got time for that. You know,
I will never forget, there was a press conference Tudor Dixon tried to hold in the middle of the 22 cycle, and she had all these people, and, you know, it was under the guise of protecting girls in sports, and she made this radical claims about what was happening in the state. And there was this incredible local news broadcast that it talked about her press conference, and then the reporter pressed her, can you provide a single example of somebody...
Okay, we're going to jump to the Israel section, okay, guys? We're going to jump to Israel. Boom. Let's go.
Quickly as possible.
Moving on, Mallory, an issue that's extremely close to my heart as a Jewish person, as a tax-paying American, as a human being, is that of Palestine. I was actually just the other night at a UN commemoration of the anniversary of the Nakba in 1948, when Israel displaced more than 750,000 Palestinians who still don't have the right to return home.
She already knows she's fucked. She's like, oh here we go. Here we go. As you can see, look at the resignation on her face. Look of resignation. She's like, I am ready. She's like, I accept my fate. There is no way I can talk myself out of this one.
So when considering people who are running for federal office, people who could determine the future of the U.S. relationship to Israel and the effect that will have on Palestinians, now the Lebanese people and Iranians, I know this issue is one people who listen to this
Shout out. Thank you, Matt Bernstein, for caring about us Lebanese people.
So, for one, care a lot about. And of course, you are also running in Michigan, which has a large Arab population, which, you know, that was very consequential in the 2024 election.
Yeah, Michigan has the largest Arab population in all of America, I'm guessing. Dearborn alone is literally called like a little...
Lebanon.
What do they call that? They call it like, I forgot what they called it. Jihadistan. Unfortunately.
I haven't heard that
like a lot
before.
of, it's a racist term.
Many of them withheld their votes from Kamala Harris as part of the uncommitted movement. So I want to make sure people have a really clear understanding of your position. Also, for context, your opponent on one side, Abdul El Sayed, he opposes all funding to Israel. And your opponent on the other side, Haley Stevens, is endorsed by AIPAC. Enough said there. So I wanted to highlight your approach and ask you about it. On your website, you write, quote, the path to lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians lies in a two-state solution, with a democratic Jewish state of Israel existing safely along a democratic Palestinian state. You write that The flow of aid to Gaza, quote, needs to be restored, that Israel's expansion into the West Bank, quote, must stop, and that
Wallah, she's hitting all the points. I believe in a two-state solution. The flow of aid must continue. The Israelis need to stop grabbing land from the West Bank. All of the safe things that obviously, that of course, everybody says that, you know, they don't do shit to stop it. But like, yeah, they all say it. And that's the centrist democratic position.
Hamas must, quote, disarm and demonstrate a commitment to a peaceful and democratic Palestinian state.
Dana Sufyan Ali says she looks like a handsome man with a wig.
That's so funny. I can't unsee that
She
now.
does have a nice little jawline that could be interpreted as a manly jawline, you know? Kind of funny.
You also support funding for Israel's defensive weapons infrastructure, you know, things like the Iron Dome. Is that all correct?
Increasingly, that's changed.
Okay.
And you even see Netanyahu now vocally saying that he himself wants to cut off relying on aid from other countries. So I would support Israel continuing to be able to purchase systems like the Iron Dome, defensive systems. But I think it's in the best interest of the United States in reducing that aid and allowing Israel to do that on their own.
But I mean, as of now, though.
Lemon Mint Cat says, bro, I'm in Dearborn. I swear there are non-Arab people. And general, most everyone gets along. No Expression 16 sends a $5 super chat. Thank you, No Expression. It says, Min rakabkun. One Armenian boy, the other Greek. I think this is a better topic than what's currently being streamed. What's the question? Min rakabkun? Like, who put you together? One Armenian boy, the other Greek. Who's Armenian? Who's Greek here?
What do they mean, Chris and you? ما فهمت.
I have no idea. No Expression. Can you add context to the super chat in your reply? Like facility. What are you saying? But thank you for the $5. Appreciate the dono. Appreciate the support. Let's go. But explain what you mean in the comments. I don't understand. Like, reply to your own tweet as a non-super chat, of course.
Oh, your policy that you're running on, just so voters are like clear, is that you support sort of the defensive infrastructure. So we wanted to ask you a couple questions about your stance here. First, regarding what a two-state solution means to you and how that could affect your policymaking.
The two-state solution debate is something where I really do think that a lot of Democrats are kind of behind the reality on this issue. So I just want to talk in terms of practicalities. Where would you, in terms of like your ideal two-state solution, draw the borders? Because as you know, Israel's been illegally occupying East Jerusalem and the West Bank since 1967 in violation of UN law. And since then, 700,000 Israeli settlers have moved into the Palestinian territories in East Jerusalem and the West Bank and have stolen Palestinian land. So my question about the practicality of a two-state solution is, how would that happen? Would your scenario require removing the 700,000 illegal settlers living on Palestinian land?
So, Emma, what you're asking is, I don't believe the role of a U.S. senator. I believe that a senator should have a role in allowing the United States to facilitate the negotiation between the Palestinians and the Israelis that gets to a place where there's long-term peace, security, and self-determination for Palestinians and long-term peace and security and self-determination for Israelis, who all live in the region and have to figure out a way to coexist where they're not killing each other. I don't believe that it's the role of the legislator to determine where those borders are or how it coexists, but it should be our role to de-escalate the conflict. I do not support the Netanyahu government.
Conflict. Conflict is not what you call a genocide. Chris says, why is her face too close to the camera? It is very close to the camera. She's standing way too close. Like, she's getting in the way. Like, I need to make myself smaller here because her face is all up in this fucking thing.
All up in this bitch.
I'll make Demi a little bit smaller too here. Huh? There you go. To accommodate this lady's massive head.
I think that they have continued to
Chris and Haley have a bet on whether or not this lady, Mallory, is going to mention that Israel has gay people. And obviously Matt Bernstein is gay. So is she going to try to use the gay card? Is she going to try to pink wash Israel in the presence of a gay man? Chris has $20 riding on this. Let's see.
Well beyond what is proportionate, what is rational in response to the October 7th attacks, in a way that is horrifying to watch. I mean, bombing Gaza to be completely uninhabitable, the settler violence that you see that while it is technically illegal, they are certainly doing nothing to stop it and continue to encourage it. And Matt, you brought this up particularly related to our state. We have a very large Lebanese population. 1 million people in Lebanon have been displaced. And I know a friend of mine who's running for state.
So what are you gonna do about it? You're just gonna talk about having 1 million people there, and you're not gonna do nothing about it?
Fucking crazy bitches.
What are we gonna do here, girl?
1 million people in Lebanon have been displaced. And I know a friend of mine who's running for state senate. 1 million people in Lebanon have been displaced. And I know a friend of
I like this. Sorry, guys.
mine who's running for state senate mentioned to me that his grandmother's home in Lebanon has been bombed 3 times, and that somehow she's still in good spirits about the fact that
Fuck. I can't unhear it now. All I can hear is the shit.
It's like a buzzer.
Fuck. It's so now it's all I hear.
she is alive when many of her neighbors are not. So for me, I'm somebody, I bring a background in industrial design into how I pursue policy, which is starting with the outcome and then backing into how do you help facilitate making that happen. What I believe is that there is broad shared beliefs across our constituents in both.
People in chat are saying she couldn't care less. Come on, this lady loves us. I can feel the way she talks about Lebanon and all the Lebanese people that live in Michigan and her associate and the Senate. She said it was Lebanese and his grandmother's house got destroyed 3 times. It's the jinx we got at the same time. I'm feeling I'm feeling the love to Lebanon here. I feel she loves us. Dana sends a $2 super chat, says this is we can't. I can't unhear it. It's all I can hear now, Dana. Fuck.
The Jewish community, the Arab.
There's another a lot of minutes of this
community, and frankly, for people who are not directly impacted by this, who are horrified beyond belief at the ongoing violence, suffering, chaos, who simply want the violence to stop and see the United States has played a role in continuing the violence when we need to play a role in ending it.
And I hear what you're saying about you don't want to draw specific boundaries. I understand that. But I think it's important to dissect what a two-state solution would actually entail. Do you believe that should involve some sort of reparations for Palestinian land that has been stolen? Because increasingly, if you look at the map of the West Bank, it's being taken over by Israel. So there would have to be either a forcible removal or Palestinians would have to be crammed into even smaller and smaller territory.
Yeah, and again, I go back to the United States role, a legislator's role, should be in helping to facilitate between the negotiators and something that allows for that peace and security for Palestinians alongside Israelis. I don't believe that is my role to dictate, to put on to the people who do live there what they should be fighting for
that was a good one. Now we're watching it a bit quicker. We're watching it at 1.25 speed at normal speed. That should be even more like let's listen
people
to this
who do live there. What they
they're so much richer and slower
on to the people who do live there. What they should be
dreadful clip.
dreadful. We need you, Chris. Thank you for the dono, Chris. Thank you for the dono. $2 donos asking dreadful to clip the
fighting for their own lives.
I want to push back though a little bit on your role as a senator. Sort of you're presenting it as a little bit detached from the peace process there, whereas we know that Israel's sort of violent and ongoing expansion now into Lebanon, as you mentioned, it's only possible because of ongoing bipartisan U.S. support. And so I wonder if you continue to support defensive weapons infrastructure to Israel, how you see yourself as utilizing any of the leverage you could have as a U.S. senator in this situation. And I guess how you think, because this two-state solution line, right? It's the party line for a long time.
Since the 90s.
And it just hasn't borne out. I think probably everyone on all sides of this issue could agree with that. And so I wonder how you are breaking from the establishment in a way that would materially benefit the people who, frankly, my tax dollars are killing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you framed it that way, because
great question. Also, still waiting for the pink washing, guys. We've not forgotten. Lemon Mint Cat sends a $2 super chat. Thanks so much, Lemon Mint Cat. And says big props, Matt and Emma, for pushing on U.S. responsibility. Yeah, they're doing great so far. They're doing great, and they're not letting her off the hook, which is what you need more. Again, it's crazy when you see independent media, just a guy on YouTube who does a podcast, and Emma on Majority Report asking better questions than people on CNN or MSNBC or whatever the fuck. Matt's doing great, and on top of all this, he's Jewish, so he's really advocating for fuck.
Oh my god.
For he's advocating for Arabs, for Muslims, for people in the region. You know what I mean? When there's this expectation that he should, and that he should be a Zionist. So let's fucking go. Lemon Cat, thanks again for the dono.
I think there's a difference, Matt, in how you ask your question versus Emma. One is the specific framework of the board. Ask your question versus Emma. One is the specific framework of the borders of the nations. The other,
no way. Once they're done with this interview, I'm sure they were like talking about like, oh my god, like how many times did she say They've edited a few of them out.
They made a fucking drinking game out of it.
Dude, 100% they commented about this. Like, what the fuck was up with that?
The fuck was up with?
Sounds like a goat. Like, you know what I mean?
there is, what leverage does the Congress have to help facilitate this negotiation? I would have voted alongside.
I can't. I have to comment after everyone. Like it's crazy. No, Chris says take a shot. Don't. You will die. This is you. No, you're getting yourselves in trouble here.
Yeah.
Don't drink for this.
The 40 out of 47 senators who voted in the past Sanders resolution blocking arms sales. And let's acknowledge how stunning it is that a year ago, that number was significant.
So what did you say? She jabbed Emma. I did not know. What did she say?
Because I think there's a difference, Matt, in how you asked your question versus Emma. One is...
Sorry, guys. I missed that. I'm so distracted by the arms.
Benefit the people who, frankly, like my tax dollars are killing.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you framed it that way, because I think there's a difference, Matt, in how you asked your question versus Emma. One is the specific framework of the borders of the nations. The other is, what leverage does the Congress have to help facilitate this negotiation? I would have voted alongside the 40 out of 47 senators who voted in.
Yo, she's throwing shade. You can't be a guest on someone's podcast and then throw shade at one of the hosts and then praise the other host, like try to start shit between them. Haley sends a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Haley. And it says, yum, close enough to She's like, there's not, she says, there's not an close enough. He said, yum. Thank you, Haley.
The past Sanders resolution blocking arms sales. And let's acknowledge how stunning it is that a year that number was significantly smaller than it is today. My views on this.
Oh my God.
Bro, dude.
Take a fucking public speaking class.
I'm going back to 1x speed. I'm sorry, guys. This is going to be a long, thick, like rich one. Listen to this.
Than it is today. My views on this have evolved because
Jesus.
The reality on the ground has evolved. It has been horrifying to watch how Benjamin Netanyahu and the far-right government have prosecuted this ongoing war against Palestinians.
Wow, you said 3 arms. You took all this time going,
war.
You could have said genocide. You're like, war. No, come on, lady. Come in again. Stop. That's the laziest and easiest thing to blame. Oh, Netanyahu and his government. Listen, lady, the whole Israeli society is nutty. Let's fucking get to it. Again, I always point to the social media trends that go viral, the songs that go that chart #1 on their radios. It is all genocidal, violent, hateful. They are a hateful society, a war-loving society. Let's stop pretending that, oh, this is Netanyahu's government. Who fucking voted for the guy? Who fucking put him there, man? Let's stop it with this shit.
The lies.
Khalas.
Lebanese, against Yemenis, in a way that the United States cannot support. Simply put, the Congress holds the power of the purse, holds the power of funding and resolutions, and that is where I would view my role in coming in is keeping an open door to everybody within our community. Michigan is a very diverse state where we have the largest Arab American population living side by side with a very significant Jewish population. And Matt, your question.
Marina sends a $2 super chat, says, say, with a little spoon. That, you know what, we got to use this with the kids. We got to start. If you have kids at home, folks, no say say
question is the universal truth. I was in an Uber a couple of weeks ago, and the driver said almost exactly what you said, which is, how can our country afford to continue bombing other countries when we can't pay for our own kids? That is where we need to step in and say enough is enough, and we need to bring this to an end.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that how in Michigan you have people of different faiths, Muslim, Jewish people, Arab people living side by side.
Yeah, MKMT says she's literally just saying a ton of nothing. Did not retain anything she said, by the way. She's like just saying, we have to work together to make sure that there's no violence. Oh, just platitudes. It's lady. Just ask for a one-state solution. Stop funding Israel. It's not that fucking complicated because all that bullshit that you've been saying, your party has been saying since the 90s, two-state solution. We got to stop the expansion in the West Bank. Oh, we have to give the Palestinians self-determined. It's like, stop it. Stop it. The Netanyahu government, no. Stop funding those fuckers. Start drawing some red lines in the sand.
I think it's very American to believe in multiculturalism as an ethic, in that it engenders understanding, and when you can live alongside people who maybe have different views than you, it reduces the capacity for hatred. It's why we don't believe in things.
Move back a little bit here. Just want to hear some of the bullshit she's saying again.
In our country, afford to continue bombing other countries when we can't pay for our own kids? That is where we need to step in and say enough is enough, and we need to bring this to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that how in Michigan you have people of different faiths, Muslim, Jewish people, Arab people living side by side. I think it's very American to believe in multiculturalism as an ethic, in that it engenders understanding, and when you can live alongside people who maybe have different views than you, it reduces the capacity for hatred. It's why we don't believe in things like segregation and apartheid, but Israel is an apartheid state. And, you know, when we're talking about...
Oh, fuck, dude. The Israel part of this interview is like 30 minutes. Let's fucking go. Amazing. Chris sends a $2 super chat and says, open wide, here comes the airplane. Say, ah.
My God.
Dude, man, my throat is going to be fucked because of this lady.
By the way.
Mithy Eve with a $5 donut. Thank you so much, Mithy Eve. Says her non-answers are so damn frustrating. This woman is snark-brained. Emma and Matt are great here. Yeah, this is they're handling it great, and I cannot wait to see like how they're gonna keep handling this interview because there's like 20 more. Like how much? There's only so much bullshit you can spin and speak. Like she's already used up all her cards. She already used up the two-state solution, the Netanyahu government, the as Americans we don't want to see. You know, we want to feed our kids. We don't want to see bomb other countries, etc. She's running out of things. There's way more questions to be asked, and there's not very many more answers that you can give. So I'm excited to see where this is going. This is a great conversation so far.
Who has the right to have land and to live in peace? I mean, we're recording this right now on the anniversary of the Nakba, and the Palestinians have been ethnically cleansed since, you could say 1948, but prior to that, from the land that is now Israel. Do you not believe in multiculturalism as an ethic for Israel and Palestine? Because a shared land would be, in my view, American and also the solution.
I need cold water. Do you need anything from the kitchen?
No, thank you. Thank you.
That we saw in South Africa that could provide fairness for everybody involved.
Yeah, and it may very well be. There are people who have worked on this issue for far longer than I have. And I always try to check my own bias at the door. I can't possibly understand what it is like to live in the middle of the Middle East. I can't imagine what it is like to have my home stolen from me, to have my family killed.
Pulga Roja says, oh, believe me, Anthony, she's going to die spinning on that Israel. What? She's going to die on that hill, huh?
I want to leave the door open. I think it's important for anybody who holds the role of a senator as a legislator to check their own bias at the door, be open and objective. And if there is, and I've heard from both Jewish community and the Arab community that you're right, Emma. A two-state solution has been something that has been attempted for a very long time. We have failed to accomplish that so far. Perhaps a multicultural solution where people are living side by side is a better solution, but I want that to come from the people who live there. It shouldn't be the role of me to assert my views on residents of another country.
Yeah, I'll move on a little bit, but I think it's just...
What you need to understand, lady, is that when you call for a two-state solution, and not a one-state solution, that means you agree with a Jewish majority ethno-state. That means you think that Israel should remain the way it is, justified its existence, no equal rights for Palestinians, and you're literally supporting a religious ethno-state, colonial state. Like, what else is there to say? What else is there to say? You know? And who's going to determine? When Emma asked her, like, what would the border be? It's like who decides who gets what land? How much land do you plan on giving the Palestinians? And is that ever even going to be? Oh, by the way, what's goddamn? Yo, her half her face is melting off. That's all I'll say.
You know, to me, it's like Israel, who is the occupying power in this dynamic, I mean, as recognized by international law, does not want a multicultural state.
Haley says, okay, guys, let's curb the body shaming. That is true. We got to do that, folks. If we've been doing that, we got to do it. Okay. It's a jaw, you know, it's a fine jaw. It's a fine jaw. Okay. And don't mind the comment that I made about the eye. Okay. Did I make a comment? I just said the face is melting off. Forget that I said that, folks. Let's listen to our elder. Let us listen to our moderator, Haley.
Obviously, that is, you know, when they say like, oh, you guys want to destroy Israel, what they're talking about is a destruction of the apartheid system. What they're talking about is bringing in equality. And so I guess I want to stay on for a second, like how you could use your leverage as a U.S. senator to stop this violence, which we all agree has to stop, right? Like we mentioned, you draw a distinction between Israel's defensive and offensive weapons infrastructure and currently support funding for the defensive part of that, like the Iron Dome. I think a lot of people, though, might disagree with that distinction and say that Israel's defensive capabilities enable their offensive capabilities. Like, you know, the Iron Dome allows Israel, one might say, to operate with impunity because they don't face the same threat of retaliation. So what would you say to that?
We have to provide Nazi Germany with defensive weapons. What if the Nazis need to defend themselves? Nazi Germany has a right to defend herself. This is what people sound like when they say, but we have to give Israel defensive weapons. They have to defend themselves. Yeah. What do you think about the Nazis? Should Hitler be able to defend himself?
I hear you. As you can imagine, this is a conversation we have every single day in a state like ours, where we have vastly different viewpoints on the right course of action in the Middle East. And it is the job to go in with an open mind and to listen and to make the right, most objective decision that I possibly can. And as I said at the outset, it is increasingly the view of even Netanyahu himself that he wants to be able to do it on his own and doesn't want to rely on foreign aid. There seems to be a recognition that they are going at everything they possibly can and are losing the support of the world. They're losing the support of Americans. And I will...
God damn it, lady. Stop it with the ass.
Always, my pledge is to always be objective. You know, I am not so tied to an individual viewpoint that I'm not willing to change my mind when the facts on the ground change.
I guess then to that end, why do you support funding to Israel's defense infrastructure? What is, I guess, sort of your positive vision in supporting that policy? You know what I mean?
Because I don't think anybody should live in fear of being bombed or killed. I would look at how do we support defensive systems for Palestinians? How would we support defensive systems for Lebanese?
Should they get an Iron Dome too, the Palestinians?
Well, let's talk about that as a conversation.
Well,
I mean, the horror of living in fear of being bombed constantly. Let's work with the outcome of how do we end the violence, period.
But I mean,
they would never give Palestinians an Iron Dome. They would never give people in Gaza an Iron Dome because that goes exactly against the goal of Israel, which is to bomb them. And Israel is getting their money and their weapons from the U.S. Why would the U.S. fund the weapons to destroy Gaza and the defensive weapons to protect Gaza? That makes no fucking sense. That'll never happen. That's never going to happen. They're never going to be offered an Iron Dome. Marina sends $2 and says, stop bullying her. She has the syndrome. You see that? If we're going to make fun of something, let's make fun of the And yes, Haley made a good point. Haley said, to be clear, I don't think we should care about the feelings of centrists and Zionists, but it gets to a line of transvestigation and misogyny that targets others. And I agree with that. I agree with that, folks. It's a slippery slope. It is a slippery slope. And let us maintain the high road, okay? And whatever thoughts you have, no one's going to go after you for thinking them, at least not yet. You can think whatever you want. You can say it in here loud and proud, okay?
Away from that, how do we protect people?
I think then, though, that sort of probes...
And Chris actually responding to Haley says, honestly, when people have shitty personality and a dark soul, I immediately start seeing that on their physical appearance. Even if objectively they are beautiful, my perspective changes. Same here. I mean, you could say, like, objectively, people like Gal Gadot, you know what I mean, are attractive. But when you know that they're Israeli, IDF, defend a genocide, etc., you just see evil. You just see evil on that face. Absolutely. I agree with that as well, Chris.
That like maybe we're coming from different worldviews here a little bit, because my worldview, and I think one that Emma has been talking about as well, is like multiculturalism, where we live amongst each other and where multiculturalism and a respect for one another keeps us safe. And so like, I don't want to talk about like everyone getting...
Dreadful Utopia has been summoned, folks. That's how you do it. Dreadful Utopia, you've been summoned. Guys, say Dreadful Utopia 3 times in the chat, and they shall appear. Dreadful, welcome. You have been summoned. We need your clipping skills. People need your clipping. Chris has been demanding some clipping. Dreadful. They've been calling your name.
Their Iron Dome, and everyone arming up, and everyone getting more and more defensive and offensive, and everyone getting more violent, and everyone... I mean, you know, I just did an episode that actually comes out today, which I'm very excited about, with Naomi Klein, about Tucker Carlson's worldview that he has been espousing as of late. And he does view the world that way, where, you know, in America, we should bunker down and have our white Christian nation, and everyone else is bunkered down in their own very racialized nations as well, with like tons of weapons, and we're all segregated. And like, I just find that...
Guys, W's in the chat for Dreadful Utopia, who just did like a superhero landing in the middle of this fucking thing. Like, you rang? Hell yeah, we rang, Dreadful. Let's fucking go. Why? Don't apologize, Dean. We hope you're doing okay, Dreadful. Hope all the personal stuff is doing all right. You take whatever time you need to make sure you and yours are great.
To be such a grim reality, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think, like, I'm wondering if your politics could come from a different place philosophically, where it's not like, what about funding also the Palestinian Iron Dome, where it's about taking away the Iron Dome from Israel, this thing that, in my opinion, allows them to continue operating as a genocidal apartheid state unchecked.
No, and I think where you and I find agreement here is exactly that. Ideally, we should be at a place where we're not armed to the teeth against each other. We are a multicultural society in our country, and yet we have more guns than we have people in the United States. I sat on the state Senate floor below 4 men with AR-15s and full tactical vests, who I promise you...
Okay, just a little aside. Matt just like mid podcast busting out like the lip gloss or like the chapstick. That's fucking awesome. Just a little
we
refresher.
have more guns than we have people in the United States. I sat on the state Senate floor below 4 men with AR-15s and full tactical...
That's confidence right there, folks. That is confidence, and that is knowing that the person you're talking to is just uttering bullshit. Like, you know what? Let me get some moisture back up in these lips, because this person is just wasting my fucking time right now.
Holy shit. Vests, who I promise you wanted me dead. That is not the world that I want to live in. The goal, yes, is let's have multicultural societies where we're not attacking each other. I do start at that place, and I want to make sure that I go in recognizing that I would have a responsibility. I have a responsibility today as a state senator to check my personal beliefs at the door sometimes and make decisions that are in the best interest of protecting as many people as possible.
And do you think the Iron Dome is in service of that?
I would love to get to a place where it's not needed, period, for anybody.
Okay.
She's not willing to admit that by Israel having the Iron Dome, it basically means it gives them permission to bomb whoever the fuck they want, because they know they are protected by the Iron Dome. They have the backing of the US, of Europe. And it's basically carte blanche. Go ahead, do whatever the fuck you want. You got the Iron Dome as backup, which that no one else has.
Do you believe Israel has committed and is committing a genocide?
Yeah, we went through this on our campaign. Based on the legal definition, I've said this, I do believe that it meets the definition. What I also heard in response from many of my...
The people that, when you ask them, is Israel committing a genocide? Like, after all the footage you've seen, do you still need to look at, like, does it meet the legal definition, though? Is it technically, like, what do you call hundreds of thousands of babies and women just murdered, turned into ash, legs chopped off, hands chopped off, the largest generation of crippled, God, what's the word? Not crippled kids, but dismembered children.
Yes.
Record amount of dismembered children in Gaza because of the Israelis. Like, what are we talking about here? Well, you know, it does meet the legal definition. Well, I'm glad it meets your legal... Oh, look, damn, look at the super sticker.
That's so cute. Who did that, by the way?
It's the first time I got something that looks like this, isn't it?
A pixelated logo. It said something. Did Chris do that?
Dana, that's so cute. No, it's a super sticker. I get it.
Oh, the Dana chose it, yani the sender chooses it. Okay, cute.
Dana, thank you so much. That was so.
Yeah, Allah, it's munching.
That's such a cute animation. I wish all our super chats looked like that.
Anjad. Yalla, Chris.
Dana, thank you so much. So kind, so generous. Such a beautiful little hippo.
Constituents who had family that they lost in the Holocaust, is there such a personal, visceral reaction to that word that moves us apart from each other. And when I believe that most people in both the Jewish community and the Arab community and people who are not impacted want the same outcome, why would we spend our time debating whether or not you agree with the definition of a word and recognizing we have the coalition who wants the same?
Man, they talk. That's their technique, right? You ask a good question, they talk your ear off, you lose track of what they're saying, you get bored, you get disinterested. They're throwing so many fucking empty words and platitudes out there, just like generic shit, that you're like, what the fuck did you even say? Like, what did I even fucking ask you? Let's move on to the next question. And that's how they've been that's how these people have been getting elected for fucking decades.
Same thing. How do we keep them together?
I think that the definition is important because of international law, and we're seeing right now the Trump administration and, frankly, the Biden administration.
I just want to stop death everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, people dying wherever, whatever religion, it's just bad. So I'm just for peace for everyone. I'm just for, no genocide against anyone. Like, what are we talking about, lady?
Was also a part of the degradation of international law and the rules-based international order. And, there was a Quinnipiac poll from August 2025. This has probably increased since then, that 77% of Democrats, over half of independents, believe that Israel is committing genocide. Don't you think that it's important to articulate that just to support international law at a time when the foreign policy of the United States and by...
Wait, is that what you said? God, did I not listen to what you said? Why am I doing this? Did she say she doesn't want to use the word to not upset Jewish people?
Why would we spend our time debating whether or not you agree with the definition of a word and recognizing we have the coalition who wants the same thing? How do we keep them together?
Oh my God, is that really what she fucking said?
Okay. Do you believe Israel...
Our campaign, based on the legal definition, I've said this, I do believe that it meets the definition. What I also heard in response from many of my constituents who had family that they lost in the Holocaust is there is such a personal, visceral reaction to that word.
She had to bring up the Holocaust,
by the way.
That moves us apart from each other. And when I believe that most people in both the Jewish community and the Arab community and people who are not impacted want the same outcome.
Who are not impacted? Wait, so just because the word is upsetting to some people, we can't call it a genocide? So why do you call the Holocaust a genocide?
Why would we spend our time debating whether or not you agree with the definition of a word and recognizing we have the coalition who wants the same thing? How do we keep them together?
We don't want the same thing. And if you can't call it a genocide, we don't want the same thing.
I think that the definition is important because of international law, and we're seeing right now the Trump administration and...
Yeah, I don't think Emma is Jewish, by the way, guys.
Frankly, the Biden administration was also a part of the degradation of international law and the rules-based international order. And, there was a Quinnipiac poll from August 2025. This has probably increased since then, that 77% of Democrats, over half of independents, believe that Israel is committing genocide. Don't you think that it's important to articulate that just to support international law at a time when the foreign policy of the United States and by extension Israel is might makes right?
I think it is important.
Yeah, at a time where international law is weaker than it's ever been, where no one believes in international law, where the whole Middle East, our whole region right now, if you talk about international law or the UN or the United Nations or resolutions, we laugh at you. We laugh at you because how has international law helped us? How has international law and human rights and all that bullshit protected us and our people from the destruction that your countries have caused here?
To listen to everybody that I would be asking for faith and trust to represent, and to build the coalition that we need to hit the same goals. There is no doubt that war crimes have been committed. There is no doubt that the pain and suffering at the vast expense of our taxpayer dollars, Matt, to your point, that we continue to pay for this.
Matt, to your point, she hates Emma. She wants Matt to know that she likes him, and she wants to let Emma know that she doesn't like her.
That's so
needs
awkward.
To end. And I want to keep my people together at a moment when so much of the emphasis is on how to tear them apart.
Yeah, I don't mean to be...
Lemon Cat sends a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Lemon Cat, for the support today. And says, Lemkin Institute just issued a red flag for genocide in southern Lebanon. Really, huh? Hey, that is the goal, right? Ethnic cleansing, genocide. They're destroying every single village. They are ethnically cleansing every single village. They are killing people left and right. They are razing these villages to the ground to make sure that they're uninhabitable. So, not surprised by that. Thank you for always great updates by Lemon Cat.
Pedantic. I really, really don't with like the genocide label. But I think to me, identifying it as a genocide is important to, like Emma said, give an internationally understood and legal label to what is currently happening to a group of people. And to me, like anyone's feelings about that word, I think are not as important as like recognizing what is still happening to people right now, which is a genocide under international law, you know?
How does your family feel about it? How are those conversations going?
Well, you know, it
depends on the family
depends
member.
on the family member, and it's tense. But ultimately, I assume, you know, you're asking that because I'm Jewish, and you'd be right for that, because it's, especially intergenerationally, it's a tense conversation because people have, you know, different levels of Zionist indoctrination and also differing sort of proximities to the Holocaust and the timeline. But I think, though, the difficult conversations that are happening within my family are less important than the reality of what is happening to the Palestinian people.
Boom. There you go. Could not have answered it better. And the conversations, just like you said, the conversations that are happening within my family are not as important as the reality that is currently happening to the Palestinian people. And this is why when we talk about the H3 podcast here, instead of Ethan focusing on what was happening to the Palestinians in Gaza, on the ground, he was worried about his feelings, me, anti-Semitism. People hate us because of this. And how does this make us feel? How does this make me feel? It's not about that. It's not about you. It's about the victim. So that's why we talked so much about it. And this is such a great point that Matt, I want to listen to that line one more time, because that is the perfect response.
The Holocaust and the timeline. But I think, though, the difficult conversations that are happening within my family are less important than the reality of what is happening to the Palestinian people.
Perfect. And this is where Ethan and Ela failed, for example. Those conversations that were supposed to happen within their family, they made those public conversations, and they made those take precedence over the very real genocide that was happening.
Very true.
That became more important to them.
Said.
We're the victims. We're being hurt. People are coming after us. People are and what's the definition of Zionist? Like all of that. Chill the fuck out. Focus on the actual issue at hand, the genocide that is happening in Palestine.
So we've had those same conversations. My husband is Jewish, and though I'm a step removed, there are certainly really, really hard conversations, to your point, among generations within.
I need to clip this, and I need to make this a soundbite on the show. Like, this needs to be
families. I respectfully disagree, and I believe the responsibility of a legislator, somebody who represents, I'm asking for the trust to represent 10 million people in a very diverse state that is a purple state, that could very easily go to the Republicans. My greatest joy in this job as a legislator is when I get to help people one-on-one, and when I get to be a part of their story. And
who are you helping by denying that it's a genocide? Like, you're helping no one. You're helping no one.
Keeping coalitions together is hard work. And I believe we can respect international law and the ICC and have a legislator who respects their stances and understands that in order to move forward to the goal that I think all of us on this call share, is to keep a state like mine together and to not let this issue tear people apart. Because if we let it tear us apart, we get Mike Rogers. Trump gets a win, and there is no love lost on the other side of the aisle here, with an administration that allowed Benjamin Netanyahu to convince us to go to war with Iran.
I think, because we're still in the primary, especially, like I'm pressing, Democrats a little bit more on this, because we're not yet really talking about the general. And, you say that it's more important to keep the coalition together than to sort of fracture over this one issue. But I don't know. I think for me, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic at all, I promise. But sort of when I look at what a candidate like Dr. Abdullah Sayed is doing around this issue, it doesn't feel like we actually have to abandon dignity and actual justice for Palestinians to keep that coalition together. I mean, like we said at the beginning, you guys are all, neck and neck.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I don't think we need to either. And that's not my goal at all.
I guess, you know,
But don't you think that's what you're doing when you refuse to call something a genocide and when you're still kind of two-sizing the whole thing? And well, people of Israel need to also, you know, have their Iron Dome and live in peace and be safe. And like, what about their children? Like, yeah, great. Let's think of their children once we deal with the people that they're murdering, the kids that they're murdering.
On this topic, we've exhausted it a little bit, but you also have groups like Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the Israeli organization itself, B'Tselem, calling it a genocide. So I read that out just because I think that when we're talking about how to keep a coalition together, the 77% of Democrats that think Israel's committing genocide, the 90% of Democrats that have a negative view of Israel or don't want to send them more money, that would, I would imagine, be the position that would be as unifying as possible, because it appears like this is kind of a consensus opinion now within the Democratic base.
I mean, I hear that it's reflective in polls and reading polls and asserting how campaigns should be run based off of polls is not a way that you win in a state like ours. And Matt, I hear that you don't want to talk about
polls and morality, both polls and international.
She hates Emma. She really hates Emma. Like, every time Emma asks a good question, she's trying to like discredit her question and make it seem horrible.
Because it appears like this is kind of a consensus opinion now within the Democratic base.
I mean, I hear that it's reflective in polls and reading polls and asserting how campaigns should be run based off of polls is not a way that you win in a state like ours. And Matt, I hear that you don't want to talk about
polls and morality, both polls and international law and morality.
And talking about morality, Trump put out an AI generated video of Trump Gaza and has told us we cannot afford daycare, we cannot afford Medicare, we cannot afford Medicaid. And not only that, but that states should tax themselves even more to pay for those selfish things so that we can pay for a war that he took us into because Netanyahu convinced him to do so. And every single Republican in the House and the Senate refused to vote on the War Powers Resolution. So I agree. You'll find agreement. And I live and serve in a deeply purple state that has to focus on November. And Mike Rogers.
GG asks, what's winning if you abandon all principles? Exactly.
And the tens of millions.
You've lost. If you've won by abandoning principles, have you won at all or have you lost? You've simply lost.
The dollars that will be funneled into this state because it is a coalition of as many people in the state as possible. You don't win in Michigan without independents. You don't win in Michigan without Republicans. So it is keeping the Democrats together, keeping the Democrats engaged, keeping our diverse communities together to recognize we have the shared goals. We do. And it's hard work.
It doesn't seem like you're taking those shared goals seriously and that you actually care for Palestine if you're just not willing to fucking admit it's a genocide. You're not showing any urgency when you refuse to call it what it is, when you refuse to call it a genocide, when you refuse to say that the Iron Dome shouldn't be funded. You are making it seem like it's all good and dandy. Oh, but I support a two-state solution. Let's just work towards a two-state solution like we've been doing for the past 3 decades. When you use this same old centrist bullshit that has gotten us here, you're not gonna get people excited. I hope you fucking lose the election, you idiot.
And it's work that I'm in every single day. So hopefully you see there's not disagreement here, but it is the work every single day. And
there's a lot of disagreement. By the way, folks, just a quick reminder to our channel members, beloved channel members, I will be live tomorrow for members for an exclusive members live stream before I head out to the Mandalorian premiere with our boy Chris. So members, remember tomorrow, it's going to be at around 4 or 5 p.m. Beirut time, which is going to be around 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, okay? To our members, thank you so much again to our members for supporting the channel.
Keeping our people together so that we don't lose a seat to somebody who would rubber stamp everything Trump wants to do, who will certainly not end this war or secure security for Palestinians anytime soon if it were up to him.
Yeah, and I'll wrap up. I know you probably have to run. Busy day running a campaign.
Lady Biden got us into this mess. Biden and Kamala Harris. So ما تحكينا عن Trump. It doesn't take Trump to start what's happening in Gaza. All it takes is a Joe Biden.
I think neither of us would argue that like every Republican is doing all of this and worse, much worse. And none of us would argue, in favor of anything Trump is doing. I just think especially, during primary season when we are, being given the chance to put our what we think.
Yeah, he's not comparing you to Trump. He's comparing you to your fellow Democrat right now. So don't defend yourself against Trump. Don't defend yourself against a straw man. Defend yourself against, I'm sorry, I don't know the other guy's name, El Sayed. Defend yourself against him.
Our best Democrat forward that we're, pushing you on some of these issues, because I think something that I'm sure you've heard is that a lot of Democratic voters feel like we have an establishment that isn't fighting sufficiently.
And I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
This is a party that's not meeting this moment, not only on this issue, but on voting rights, on civil rights, on childcare and healthcare and housing.
Sends a generous $5 donut. Thank you so much, Haley, for the super chat. Thank you for supporting the channel. Says she represents people who let Trump do what he wants to do. Exactly. Same old, middle of the road, centrists who benefit from the same exact system that Trump benefits from. They own stocks. They're part of the government, and they own stocks in the stock market, and they want lower taxes. It's the same shit. Marina says, I'll try to watch as I finish work at 7 p.m. Pray for me for a calm shift so I can sneak into the nurse lounge and watch.
يا الله يعطيك العافية مارينا.
Yeah, guys, W's in the chat for Marina. Hardworking nurse who, nurses are some of the most important people in our society. Nurses, teachers, doctors. So, God bless nurses. Marina, يعطيك ألف عافية. Thank you so much for always being here and always being so supportive. Chris is asking, will the review be for members only? No, the review, Chris, will be for all the people because we have to protect the people. If the movie's bad, we have to tell people to save,
people know.
Save their hard-earned dollars to not go watch the film. We are going to use our privilege responsibly. With great power, Chris, comes great responsibility. Once you're given a advance ticket to because I called multiple times. Remember, Chris, all the effort that I went through and the suffering to get you that ticket. Which I shouldn't even have gone through because Elia's canceled. So I'm rabhak jmila al fadil. But thank you for that beautiful mug. Yeah, Chris, that mug has more than made up for that ticket. More than made up for it. Let's get back to this lady. Almost done with her Israel spanking.
So much at stake here, which is why I'm doing what I can. I believe. Truly,
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. That's all. Just might as well start chanting the World Cup stuff, lady.
Oh my God.
We built a blueprint in Michigan, in the legislature, when we flipped control of the legislature for the first time in my entire lifetime, that we can take with us to Washington and build a party that knows how to fight and knows how to win and knows how to actually get things done for people.
Totally. And I just want to mention, as a New Yorker, I got to rep my city and, push back on the idea that we have to make these sort of middle of the road concessions on some of these issues, especially like a humanitarian issue. We had Mayor Zoran Mamdani, who just won in my city. And, 1 in 10 Mamdani voters also voted for Trump. There was a small but mighty MAGA for Mamdani coalition. And you know what? It's confounding, but that's, I guess,
amazing.
It's amazing. It's how the world works. And, he's someone who...
Chris Judd's out on it. What is this dirty talking chat, Chris? Says, Dif kif mithammalu like aided hasho hel ticket. You're asking for it, Chris. You're telling me, begging me to be like, get me that ticket, get me the ticket. Now you're insulting me? Terrible. خلاص ما بدي. You know what? It's easier to shove a ticket up my ass than you shove your mug up your ass. That's much harder. I'll do the ticket, you do the mug. How about that? Is that what you want, Chris? I'll put the ticket up my butt.
That's so straight of you to say.
We have fun here, babe. We have nice time. Sorry, guys, for the head. Chris, we were calling out Mo for being the big message. Chris. خلاص. If that's what you want to do, now you know the condition. Okay. You know where to put that mug. Nogzalato says we need to get Matt Bernstein on the NW. Oh, I would love to get Matt on. I think Matt's too big for our show. You know what I mean? I don't know how to get Matt on the show. We'd love to get Matt. Get some of his awesome perspective. Big defender of Lebanon. Big defender of the Arabs. Any defender of Arabs is a friend of ours.
Who really didn't concede on his beliefs on any of these issues. So of course I would be remiss if I did not encourage you to do the same. Mallory, thank you so much for joining today. I really mean it. It's a pleasure to be able to talk to you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you to you both.
Cool. And that is our interview.
Oh, she hates them. That was great. Honestly, that was a great conversation. Man with long last name says it shouldn't be too hard. He collabs with Bat Hasbara often. Well, Bat Hasbara, they're not small time. Bat Hasbara they're a big podcast. Like Daniel Mate, he's big. Matt Lieb is big. Matt Lieb is on Good Mythical Morning. He's on. He's got his own podcast. He's a stand-up comic. They do a lot. Daniel Mate was hanging out with Melissa Barrera a few days ago and Matt Bernstein. Daniel Mate, Matt Bernstein, and Melissa Barrera, all three of them in New York. This is upper echelon stuff. Yeah, and we got the in with Daniel Mate. I'll ask Daniel to get us in with the Bernstein. True, I'll be like, Daniel, let us in. Okay. Beautiful. You hungry for some dinner?
Yes.
Would you like to eat something? Guys, we're going to grab some dinner in a second. Let me see if anything happened. Has anything happened on Twitter? What be happening? So tomorrow, let me give you guys a quick update on what's happening. Members live stream for members at 4 or 5 p.m. Beirut time. Keep that in mind. Then at 7 p.m. Beirut time, so 12 p.m. Eastern, there might be, I'm leaning 70% yes, an IRL stream at the Mandalorian premiere at Vox Theaters in Lebanon. We'll just show you guys a quick, we'll walk around the mall, show you guys what a Lebanese mall looks like, show you the food court. We'll have some fun. How about that, okay? Chris and myself will give you a little tour of the mall and show you around the very classy Mandalorian premiere. Then, at around, if the movie starts at 8 and it's a 2-hour movie, let's be safe and say at 11 p.m. Beirut time tomorrow, starting late, at 11 p.m. Beirut time, we will be here live with a movie review extravaganza, reviewing The Mandalorian and Grogu, live after having seen it. Chris and I will also throw in there a little Mortal Kombat review, hey, just for funsies.
For free,
yeah, and we'll geek out. We'll just talk nerdy. We'll talk Star Wars. We'll talk about shit. You know, I know you nerds like to talk Star Wars. We'll most likely do it on this channel because, hey, we need some variety. The other channel's got a lot of content being prepared for Tino's Playroom, so I don't think I need to put movie content there. But let me know. Let me put a poll. Let me make a poll real quick. Start a poll. Would movie content be out of place on Tino's Playroom?
Yeah, because it's like a review. You review a lot of stuff on Do Not Worry, so...
Yeah, I feel like it would be like if I'm reviewing nerdy Lego sets, like I'm talking about Lego Star Wars, I could talk about a Star Wars movie. I feel like that would be relevant, right? Haley says, I'd like to see you talk to Brandon Sutton sometime. Who's Brandon Sutton again? Remind me. Thank you so much, Haley, for the generous dono, by the way. That's so kind. W's in the chat for Haley, folks. Brandon Sutton. Remind me, who's that guy? Actor? What does he do? Haley, what do we talk to him about? Is this guy? What's his deal? Is he pro-Lebanon, pro-Palestine? Let's try Israel. From never again to never question Israel. From the Watch the Majority Report. Wait, what? Did Brandon's son originally link up with MR? Oh, Michael Brooks. He's friends with Majority Report? Discourse with Brandon. Oh, okay. Let's look it up. DG Orhui just gifted 5 Do Not Worry memberships. Let's go. DG, thank you so much. We got 5 new members today. Let's add that to the total. Okay, let's look up. I'm gonna look him up. Discourse with Brandon. The Discourse. 21K subs. Okay, so the newer, smaller channel. Okay, there we go. Welcome to the front lines of psychological information, social and spiritual warfare. Seems very interesting. Seems like a chill dude. Bitter Ben Shapiro's boring videos. Okay, seems interesting. Thanks for the... I'm going to subscribe to the channel so that I don't forget about him. Lots of DNWers fuck with Brandon's son. I see them in chat. All right, awesome. Let's go.
Nice, that's funny.
I love being introduced to new creators. Can never have too many interesting people to follow. So that's the Discourse with Brandon. If you guys want to also support, go ahead and do that. DG, thank you so much for the gift. That's so kind. Haley, thank you again for the generous super chat and for the great recommendation. And he's funny. Even better. Even better. Let's see who got some memberships. Joel got a membership. Political Junkie got a membership. Ooh. My mama's calling. I got to hang up on my mom, guys. We're almost done. I'm going to call my mom back. Guys, as you guys know, my mama not doing too good right now, but doing better. Hospital visit. We love our mama. Love in the chat for Mama Sargon. Who's feeling a little bit better.
She's doing much better.
I'm going to give her a call in a second to make sure that she's doing okay. I hate hanging up on my mama. I had to. Y'all see me? I had to do it. I have my phone is plugged into the computer for internet. DG just gifted another 5 memberships. What the hell? DG, thank you so much. Guys, those 10, all you new members are going to be enjoying our live stream tomorrow. Exclusive for members. Let's go. We're at 441 friends. Fucking awesome. Thank you so much. Out of 1,000, guys, don't forget, the goal is 1,000 members by my birthday. I would like to try to see if we can get to 1,000 members by my birthday on September 26th. So very kind. So very generous. Oh my god. DG, way too kind, way too generous. All of you guys have been fucking awesome today. Oh, you guys, it showed her number. It's okay. It's all right. I'll try to cut it. I'll try to cut it later.
Where did it show the number?
I should put my phone on Hayda. Yep. Guys, we're gonna end the stream. Thank you so much. I'm gonna edit the. YouTube is making it harder to cut shit out of streams. To be honest with you guys, so I'll see what I can do. I gotta tell my parents not to call ever again while I'm streaming. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everybody who sent in a super chat, who gifted memberships. Thank you. It happens, guys. It happens. It happens. See you guys. I will try to remove this from the live stream. YouTube has made it more complicated. See you all very soon. I will see you tomorrow. Multiple live streams. Much love, everyone. And as always, do not